We have a 1 cedi on fuel way now minority Asiedu worker.
Mama nche tiefo ni ahwefo na nche menuanu ma bedwafo. Memo abaso se ne da bia meye no no. Na ise dey am say baby aya tren dey nche be ko parliament.
Yeah easy.
Committee members aya betena say ise dey. Okay. See on that note no. Ebe boy homodin na ya boa ma man na kama. Minority. Obaya democracy na sebio e makwan man yo mabi wo ho a sebi preduasa nyansa nim but e wo se ekoso. Nti democracy e ma sebi obi a kire na adwen. Including bodem ni nyina democracy ma ne kire na adwen. The only time democracy onye fair to bodem ni e when you koto aba. Wow, see
only sound mind
because of na adwen na e community ni kwan so to aba. Amra no kra no my imagine say me kwama ya repeat because abodan fu pia to aba emra no emfa omumfa amra kwan bi aso ama adru ba bi krampo no na wo hwe ye mampani a ote yeso akufo ado a obi ni obetima convince me say akufo ado was of sound mind. It's a bodem net me gina me ato ne so aba me na di koti kwan of fast so de be ye mampani obi ani ani ye bo a ene se akufo ado ye mampani tina wo hwe ni o ma na ekoso ibie ni won ma na sebi abadwen basem ewu enti se me hwe de ye course nra minority force omo ye work ni o ma mienu na eba amadwen ye di kan ye say election na omulusu ye no they haven't come to terms with the realities akwai say sutro mienu ma ani hane we sa sutro we no akwai sutro mien sample si amanta sentase aye omo ama sese no edin se omo beji atum se de ekoso ni enti se wo hwe petition ni kro omo de kona na omo se nipa oye omo ba no dani eye mra nimu ni
ya lawyer ni
aben ma kasa MPP lawyer bi eni oye onimu mra
onim judge
MPP lawyer bi eni hon ma on afenyo makin so a wo su na CJ na mo pese mo yi na di ni nyina ne se onim CJ oni busuani efri mankesi enti abri bia no enye law no
onim
judge so yi judge ni free ho no wasa bon no onim law no a se de no mo koy se IGP na IGP ni 2 minutes sen emre mu no IGP 2 minutes sen emra ben na kire se IGP na wo se okoma electoral commission koy na adwuma emra ben no we lawyer ni o kan Ghana lawyer fo a dina me ka se Ghana Bar Association no e wo so omugu no akoye te se chop bar before bi na ensa we for bar na o makohia senye obobrobo yi na da o ma no a e de otete matron dance ase na o da o ma no association no nya se bia nim obi bia ni afa ne so lawyer ni na omu gom wani mu ase a good law profession ani mu ase we ye boni din ni afa esquire na nka ho a obetumi kwa de wa court say wagu nanim tia they say ye lawyer e wo wiase we mu a ani say kojo bantima no nyina betuma lawyer so kojo bantima ye obi ana adwene mu ka no Ashtown.
Oh really?
Fa bantima line ho kojo bantima obetuma ye lawyer Akufo-Addo ye lawyer ni Obribuahin lawyer Abronye lawyer
we lawyer Abronye lawyer
na bi kwa ye lawyer na Abronye na bi ye lawyer Pegari ni mako Pegari ni mako
I think so your masters in law but on LLB
so he has not been called to the bar
okay ba kwa law
okay entino na bi ye lawyer Gary ni mako wa ye lawyer Eti se wo hwe we mu a omoko ye ya na hwe de oda o ma no na e wo so hu so my we ya san ya chi papa because sebi so no be ka kire wo kan ye ka se obi ye lawyer ni wo NPP mu a den ye bi ni o
aben
na den emere afikura no me nka ayi ko otu
yeah
one ne nya adwe but bo so he is talking law Gary na no wotumi ade ye oyeye wo ye lawyer ni o ni aban e kokon ase aban no say ono no de obi akodina emranim amani bail emramo o se me court say omo anti bail conditions ne so se obekwa ko hwe obi a owo sabi ehun krata asem a obetimi aboa me nya bail no ene se obekwa court akopim se court be di asem na wie no eti se court no kra share se obedi asem no juada na ni pakro no wadam efiada memenda kwasiada we lawyer ni lawyer ni o
yeah
na wonu no akoni ni senior adeba ekotwe manso a say onu kan asema senior na ntie wo senior bibia wo pese wo ye bia wa abrabom as a lawyer no wonu na a director echeche kwan because we were born someone who cannot put an English statement together. A sentence, common sentence, the subject verb agreement. Any guy in Maku nim common any subject verb agreement. Bon wa bon that's why a lawyer ni. Frank Davis why a lawyer. Utie send you see to papa so. Oni kisi eja ben obi a ono etre mra edi mra. Oni ne kwa kamera. Wo so wa bon. Eti NPP lawyer bi en oni mra, omo nim judge. And as I say, judge, and so say, ne to yate. Now, work no more, no. Ebia, the second thing that came in my mind is, Ebia, omo do omo. Ti omo ko exerciser. Ebe boama, say, oko worker. You how ni bi. Say no, say, how I do almost so papa. And omo bibia, and can sebi nipa de. The old trust him say ne chia no. Ta wutu ana mo bia wo wiase a. Feedback ka ukwa na okwohwe internet ne so de na Ghana for kafa me ho
yeah
in one instance se me kan de Ghana for kafa o mo ho wa ha wa hwe abeka se me kura me na ma no ya ye di o matem sa to the extent say a man na be useless a man no so are the most useless ones in this country today. None of them is relevant. None of them. They don't make sense. They don't make sense. And you know, sometimes people say, is it just because you are the minute minority, so you need not to make sense? Is it because of that? Because me, the South African Parliament, how Malay Manum, almost here, they were just a handful, but they made sense beyond reasonable doubt. To the point, sir, even the majority then in that parliament, had to kowtow before them. That is how they managed to become what they are today. But to the large extent, every time they open the microphone, they don't make sense. Oh, yeah. It's as if we have just gathered some form of fools in a certain arena called parliament. Say, when we want some comic reliefs, they should just open their mouths for us to be laughing. Everything is just a public derision. Are we serious as a country? And just because of democracy, we allow for any useless being to just, spew anything. I'm going to the substantive.
Yeah.
Abaya, one city, no Ukraine, any money. A idea being a two city. Me say Ghanaians, as forgiving as we are, we have forgiven the government. Sing to a woman, yes, Sikana or more general Ghana ni bu a fool.
Yeah.
And Kita dear no, I was say ministry and Ghana food dear.
Yeah, I think there was no communication.
No.
Let's say Yana said about parliament.
Now, didn't you pass house when he say, I quite to say, ye and Namusi for baby. Yeah, I was saying community didn't.
Yeah.
Nti ansa no owura to force in parliament no. Na nka wo se nka yen yemra se bedwafo na ye de asem ne koto o manim some time ago no. E wo se nka o madi hu komo bedwam.
Yeah.
Because ministry no e could depend wo omo so. But enye sie wie. Me imagine yem say ye fanche. Na se ehu hia na se ehu hia no. Eho ne ye fa ya adwen ko. Because sebi aban bie ni wa owo bibi apart from the animal for the amano. And so o manage resources are enye ekanko na wo manage.
Yeah.
O manage animu nipa ne emu troubleshooting ni bibia wo se ebem. Entina medical kan sinto a na ewo ho no. Na sinto no eswa echen adihiade a ye de ekana sebi ye de sika no ekotua no.
Yeah.
Ya sika we am say ministry no emfa metu dwa. But enya afebo enye sika ye gye no se kopim se wiase be ko na wie ye. Sada media minim se ne dwoma ma hye ne neoma.
Yeah.
Na obaya na ka the last person was nko bie na no kra kan bi asem we bi ye NPP ni. Onipa NPP ni ohun adwene ne wo fom ama eduru ba bia na eya. Se party na kakane no se bi o yetimi di ye ho se eye nimdifo party no. Se no abaye akwadwofo ene amamboyefo party. Enu nti na ama omo a se bi o omo ye members of the party no. Omo nim no kre. Enu ani se yaka che ne se o we parafoi kodi. Wa anya ne se party ne ma power. Se no opposition na omo akono. Ama omo adwene ye omo said the word opposition means oppose everything. So whether good or bad, they always, and it's becoming a cancer in their brain. One way back, I can't be omo Canada Japan. The NPP ombenya tumor or my dream. I was here too money from my dream because too money in yini. At the end, at the bedroom ha. Sika John Mahama ejeje ya na wo senka saka we na abai no. Ebebe so ya oman na sene. Aso omanfo asene na yetimi akoye ka no. Says can Akufo-Addo ne kanofra tom de yeden.
Or refer to Esla.
Esla. O ma disika no e disika na sia wo wa akwaje bosia a je se 2037 ani betua bosia na wie. Enti susu ana omususu se John Mahama aba ba e mampani no e kwan me na na nkomususu se nka John Mahama onfa so enfa emu man no. Oh, Akufo-Addo ba abem fofo me kan. Mi tufu bi se e maga na ni nkoto abama no. Na obi a ye de abusu agapade ni papa ebe wuo no. Ojani hotel o e wo higher Ringway hotel. Ah, wakoton hotel no de ama Societe General. Hotel no de adwuma na oye. Change bed sheet. Mame coffee. Anase tea. Anopa. Wo de abro so a mami omelette kosu ayachi ayetwetwetwa mu atete mu nkete. Akufo-Addo ntimi amanage hotel. Woton ye. Ade bobra, ehuhu bra. Discourse no ogina mu. Ba bia akokora wadi mfie be ekwa aduoko no. Ne football age na da bia munim no. Na ogina disco bunim. Owie ye wo se otunepa. Owie ye wo se wabokanti wanton hotel na ontimi nyeda efa nye campaign. Enyeska nye campaign. Oton ye. Oton ya koton O'Reilly Secondary School. Emma Major Nunu Mensa, Major Brigadier. And the Timima own baby. And San Omu create me a school. Sprinters were baby. On the own baby. And San Omunya baby a school. Torbushaja Padiana, she own him from Range Runabout. All the way to Electoral Commission, who you know, Nanny Papadia, or Tonina, or Toby Crama Talafatano. Baby, I know a soccer academy. No, I want you know, Akufo-Addo. On Tonina, copy Electoral Commission, baby, I hack my fear in warning now. Ne Akufo-Addo, they are not Tomano. What be our test and funny moon mine? It won't say, dear John Mahama, yet to one, I was thinking, Jinaso, at the Kuyaka, ever, and Kaniahu, Eslano. Any petrol in your men now. on se wo bae wo de akosia wo agisika na di ene Ghana ni nim de odisika na ye it is a nyansa sabi John Mahama ni papa ne maame e de wo no a edua ni mu a ema wo ye oba soronko a wo nimdi a wo de ka ho ni nyansa de abobra ama Ghana fo ho atoyen a entinka kwan ba na ke be fa so anka e betimi akosa akai all right enu ti na say one cedi na one cedi no de enwanwani obaya ebedru busumi afi we awie ye no na petrol bo na ba from papa ebeba ma one cedi no Ghana ni kura mfili na one cedi ne yade a wode to say utofu abia na elita bia no one cedi a fa ne sefu a no koto ne 5 cedis kura ye beti one cedi Ghana ni in the last few months petrol no woto ne kane no say yate so say almost 4 cedis
yeah
and this the same one cedi na say yesa akote so kura in the next window ye beti so yesa akote so a one cedi na ebi Owusu hu na because ebi awofi say ya no ye NPP for na ma wo betua one cedi no ebedu ba bi kura po no do Mahama nti umfili wo wie ye no wo sa de dollar na ekofom say dollar ne ba ebeduru ba bi a obi kura cedi be say enkono ana enso honom enwotwe ho na wo di koto eyi a wasa ma wo botom ayede ye say wo cedi na say wo botom no anya ho de enti say etikasi awi adwe nya say adwe na emre o we eyesese ya enyamiama emre bi do Mahama de one cedi to so sa akwakuku ate de court ti enyi one cedi ni mfiri so omo ba aban mu no bisa akwakuku ate no deputy minister for finance omo antimi enyi omo sei so omo yi a omo ne bebo etikasi awi adwe nya sa adwe emre o do Mahama won sori preko pemfa sebi decision oh ye were only two categories of human beings, one who thinks before he acts and the other one who acts before he thinks. The latter eye kufa do no omo ye bibi wi ansa no makodwen ho do Mahama or dream deep or ye broader consultation ansa na bibia sebi eye ginasie no
okay
it is a sebi wadwini so a ko Bible can say omo sua Proverbs 6 okwadufo ko Nketia do Mahama nchen ko sua na kwan ne hu nyansa
vedase
so ni say nyansa ni bia e te say de adwo so aba akoko no ubi bia wo ye bia no e be make sense afei de afenyo ma kin jina hon ma e levy afei de ni refi esla because okoka esla say pe ye be ka say esla na do Mahama je e mo de ye it afei de o si e levy because yi na edi energy na ni mu no e kire say yi e na levy na ti ni refi say energy no sector sa to aso nti ko the sector ne kan ho an kanya ES na ka levy ni ba na kanya esla oh because obi adwene no ada ne tiri no ohia adwene mo hwe ene ayi a afenyo makin na adwene no emuka
okay ma ko ide
ni levy su ko twa keki do Mahama wan ko bi
okay
ba wo mia na mo ni ko twa keki mu no ono ase oba obetwam afei mu ba ya ye se twam so amose na mu twam ade na ndo bebu man no oh adwene ni mu kam esa body ni bre o body no se wadwene ni nya adwuma body ni ebre enti no se bi o sorry ade bi onam no e ka odwene pa deeply a onante da because ade bi a wo be dream deeply no wo be hu se we ya me ko ikura enya IGP adwuma onante na ma di akire no mo se high heel edu be o se ne mo ro me high heel mo ma me slippers so we lead adwene mu kam ekamu a o body ni be bre we on be bre sa o nya free opposition she 2080 something
for be dey na number check that ma be ti o
yeah ma mencha na mencha o ti for all right na menka say I think say so o he Ghana kwan ya fa so politics now we a young person na o follow I think say ade ba ko a ema wa bambu ni say you become very so much disappointed in amamfo a ya entrust the political power into their hands in our thinking we think that these are intelligent people ya de to me assure mo say so mo nkotwe on mind da che ho but sometimes the way they operate, the way they act, the poverty of intellect, in the way they sometimes the poverty of reasoning, is so astonishing. What one wabomabuza on my way, I one kasa man, but in the future, and for me that is the problem because so this whole thing I cost the day. I agree with Listowel on the part of government. Say all of a sudden, introduce you way no consultation, nobody like. my catch as a governance and yabosom. And a few people be a question them could take a decision then over 12 to Nipa. And yabosom. And I said, by ye, no more than I just I did you about the by governance, no, a broader stakeholder discussion engagement ever coso. And we understand no, the bar you cannot control that discussion and as a form. But the question is, why are we here? And Sir Levia can't answer me. So we take discussions because you see say Nipa don't know more can't answer, don't even understand it. But my who some rantive or mobile keti YouTube almost say D levy, yeah the E levy, but I don't know any new levy. There hasn't been any introduction of a new levy. Under the ESLA, there were several components, I think 6 or 10. There was energy sector debt recovery way, no, and on there is 0.95. And for petrol and where 0.9, and I increase 1 city abaka, and I echo 1.95, 1.35. So no, omunya introduce new levy bia, but when say mramuno, if you want to amend, CC and say we need to amend the entire thing, and it's in a call Parliament. Well, omukwa amend yeah. So obianya introduce new levy bia bia, a existing one no, and na sikano akosoro bia baba ka ho. And for me, it makes sense in a sense, yeah. Na amount for top petrol 17 cities. Oh, Chroma say, and at that 17 cities now drop here, Babidru 12 cities, 13 cities. And in the wisdom of government, you know, say Namoton 17, now I drop it down while Babidru 12, at least say yes, slash 1 city woman within this period, Nadia Kushi, no, this money in the some kind of lean way. I think government at the sense can I and that is politics. Now you're a young person who follow. I think that about you become very so much disappointed in a month for entrust the political power into their hands. In our thinking, we think that these are intelligent people. Yeah, the two as some question of mind that, but sometimes the way they operate, the way they act, the poverty of intellect, in the way they sometimes the poverty of reasoning, is so astonishing. What one on my way, I want a man, but in the future, and for me that is the problem because. So this whole thing, I cost the day. I agree with Listowel on the part of government. Say all of a sudden, introduce you way no consultation, nobody like my catch as a governance and yabosom. And a few people be a question them could take a decision then over 12 to Nipa. And yabosom. And I said by ye no more than I just I did you about the governance, no, a broader stakeholder discussion engagement ever coso. And we understand no, the bar you cannot control that discussion and as a form. But the question is, why are we here? And Sir Levia can't answer me. So we take discussions because you see, say Nipa don't know more can't answer, don't even understand it. But my who some rantive or mobile keti YouTube almost say D levy, yeah the E levy, but I don't know any new levy. There hasn't been any introduction of a new levy. Under the ESLA, there were several components, I think 6 or 10. There was energy sector debt recovery way, no, and on there is 0.95, and for petrol and where 0.9, and I increase 1 city abaka, and I echo 1.95, 1.35. So no, omunya introduce new levy bia, but when say mramuno, if you want to amend, CC and say we need to amend the entire thing, and it's in a call Parliament. Well, omukwa amend yeah. So obianya introduce new levy bia bia, a existing one no, and na sikano akosoro ebia baba ka ho. And for me, it makes sense in a sense, yeah. Na amount for top petrol 17 cities. Oh, Chroma say, and at that 17 cities now drop here, Babidru 12 cities, 13 cities. And in the wisdom of government, you know, say Namoton 17, now I drop it down while Babidru 12, at least say yes, slash 1 city woman within this period, Nadia Kushi, no, this man in the some kind of lean wavy, I'm a government, I decide to can I be. And that is making sense because over the years, so I had the ESLA since its introduction. I've go for buy within 2017 to 20. I buy the cover size Canada bar. And this whole thing levy I buy is there just to cover the shortfall, not even to pay the energy sector debt. Because basa my existing Sikana yajida dano. A kwanya bomb na that money can go and pay the debt. But this one no, I buy the cover Sikabi 1.5 and 1.4. And the aqua fuel no. This money is going to pay for the crew. We na omo kan wasem no sabe that relief ebeba So for me, it makes sense. And you see, the thing makes sense in the first place. Sanka petrol ni jina baby e jina. I will never come and sit here and say I buy M for one seed into so. Because already hardship no Ghana for so that. But here is the case. Price now drop it almost for and Rabbi who documents me from Energy Commission. Almost a fair price per what is happening because according the global stage per barrel now $100 and now drop it to $64 crude per barrel. And fortunately for Ghana, no see the news was saying I gain I'm aware no. So everything being equal, economics when I come and everything has never been equal. So that yes. So fair price. I say Ghana you 8 cedis per your friend saying later. Because all things being equal, and which means that the possibility of petrol no air drop it further no air more. And yes, and the one city nearby the same no Ghanaians will not feel because of the measures near my akoso. But I could for other time no petrol no turn 17 cities. Ghana for ATM. So how do you add your friends one city to it? You can't. You understand?
Yeah.
But when the price I drop it because the whole essence of the year you say Ghana for finding relief. And the relief number, Okoto petrol 3 cities, 4 cities are tier free. So, and government say major 1 city at so. Na media have service a debt tonight down. And yet to crew my abandon son, yena, my better TV so can doom so, nina because we need to go and buy crude. Have on a sika free bar. So if this measure are relieve Ghana for a year, you move 1 city. At the aqua, then people on social media talking about say, and I bind the D levy about. Now we are levy for the D levy and issues not among for a canon. People don't even understand it. So I'm ranting on Mugu YouTube or more you've heard saying podcast and so sometimes you see Ubetimia entertainment, Ubetimia comedy. Innocent. But when it comes to politics, it's a very complex way. You need to understand it.
You are too bigger to be discussing miscreants.
No, but media we are trying to sell information out there. Media try, read, understand. So when you have that information, now what I say, but to go and say D levy about and the whole some among for they don't even understand it. I mean, for me, that is my problem. The fact is that energy sector over the years and I have been deviled with a lot of challenges. And I can be and I'm recently doom so me and but have a cancer doom so the way and near we need to stop. So now if there is a way and there is a fact out there say every year be an energy sector shortfall a huge almost billion $. And World Bank for the projection Ghana for you careful by the end of this year we'll be hitting around 3.1 billion in terms of your friend saying shortfall.
Yeah. And
now what you see Jababa can't so commercial and technical losses 40%. Now you more than papa company Ben was I see with technical and commercial losses 40%. That company can be viable. But we tolerate say that is it. It's okay. And then to turn name here. So another day challenges ni na be good sector and why the okosi we saw all the noise that these people made but not the day the impact and also the consequences and say I form a consortium of banks na IPPs ni nyina oni omo na okache obo say sika beto esra no ma ye one bank jisika no na pay the IPPs na omo sabe ometimi ato aso a supply because Ghana say energy mix no IPPs am about 50% of the entire energy generation na ye wo no enti omubufu no so mu dundum omu we you can survive you understand now no so na so China for way they shut it down after elections some point some discussion has to go in before so energy sector no e ka wo ho and they cannot buy it because of the near mass ankrofo we so for me if John Mahama government has been able to reduce petrol and there is a possibility that from BM I from BM and the only reason I cannot criticize one city in the say price na from BM and abanya slot 1 city ashem say yem fasa sika no na yem fa nkope say yetiana say petrol no sign cost ko do 17 cities bia we will come back and say baby and near my corner we need to take you want city in free because the politics is about serving humanity you understand so me sometimes me your politics no e to that I will hold say this company for they know this fact I can answer me but because of cheap politics in the NDC MPP they just try to make it look like And Baumia was saying the same thing. This is a flag bearer of a political party. Onim in and out. Onim energy sector. Do one case of moye no. A car is zooming as a forum. And the cano. Yanya than the cano. And the doom so should continue. You understand? So I think that the level of dishonesty on the part of these people. Now, Listowel, can you see? Now, no, me catches who lose political power in a country. You don't just lose power, you lose connection with the people. I did a very goodwill, a slip from your side. But in opposition, you know, you try to build that particular thing. You become the voice and the representative of the people. So, obi by your government, only the people side. Our Ghana politics or opposition at Tambiano, you are able to bring the people because you speak for them. But it looks as if that the NPP hasn't realized this thing, and still this arrogant, belligerent posture. As I ballistic for them, moving away from Parliament. Unfortunately, you don't have the numbers to make any upset in Parliament. And whether you sit or there, no, you are sitting there, no, has no consequential effect on the activity that course of Parliament. So where is it you understand? Yeah. But I think that they need to make themselves accountable, relevant in the politics and the discussion in this country. Now, who say, minority. Question about your interest is, what is the sunset clause in this particular thing? And so when I make sure that once in the NGB, because John Mahama bet me at the tax, but people cannot criticize because we are reducing petrol now from 17 to 12. I ever conform according to Energy Commission. We are supposed to sell it around some 8 cities. I say, to which means it is coming. Yeah. And it is obiet me this ajuma way. Now a cabi or also the 1 city shema. Yeah. What is the big deal? You and Uber for 8 good years, you know, there wasn't a timer this particular because the city and everything was going up, and we were forced to always, you know, increase your first petrol at the pump. It got to a time where people were demonstrating in as a forum. When was the last time I had seen higher petrol over by 4 cities? Me in my lifetime, I'm yet to, even though it's what it's paying there, but such a huge sum of money, you know, it been see that. So for me, advantage for us. And the kind of energy sector, you understand? So I think that it is not always your position, you know, like media, my position is negative, always criticizing, because and I had opportunity to listen to a lot of the guys speaking in as a forum. We don't find any sense in the things that they were saying. Because the bottom line is the price not drop very big. Ghana for I enjoy it, and the consumers and fair as a phone. So in this particular instance, you know, how do you say I buy the hardship to Ghana for so? And it's not as if say I buying at the one city never to price in so existing price now on and when I buy it 1 city free. So it's not as if say he's imposing 1 city. You understand? You see, so the existing way now buying 1 city free. Yeah. So another day, you know, the impression they're trying to create in this hardship. Now, they are speaking for Ghana for no. If there is anybody on Badana here, is the Mahama government what me at petrol from 17. So I think that in opposition or more, they need to just try to say, yeah, that goodwill no was slept to their side. This demonstration here, quite walking out of Parliament and as a forum. Oh yes, sir. The weak minds will always applaud you, say, and then our opposition. But you see, there are intellectuals sitting out there watching you. This is the time you need these people to your side. Sabaya, the politics, the discussion, obey to me, and making sure that you take the lead. But the attitude and this kind of way or more, for me, and yeah, they inspire and gender any confidence, and they portray the NPP as the same arrogant political party that sat on power for 8 good years, so decided to own Ghana for because never be an home of our chroma mocha and yansawum. Now, Yatiana went to me, should buy Obia Yamani Bay 50 million city bill. Motsana Kasayama granted them 4 days. Now, open year and as open year because he was slapped 50 million, and then the argument was that 50 million also. Yet Yawayomi in 2012, yes, slapping the 54. At West, yes, slashing no $600 million. Number one.
Now, if you cry no, 50 million. Sikari, I can't want to say I could do to maintain. It was in excess of about Yes, because even at the dollar equivalent rate today, that money, $55 million, even if it's at 10, it is about 500.
So I don't know. Almost slapping one $500 million. Kroma say, and the argument is that $50 million. And also, wound to me as a person. I don't know, you can go and do the research. Yeah, do you know? Say wound to me as an individual. benefited more than the entire Ashanti region. Because there is no single project in the Ashanti region that was started by Akufo-Addo within a period of 8 years, and the cost to do $55 million. But Wontumi alone, they invested $55 million in Wontumi. So the Wontumi as a person got richer than the entire Ashanti region. That was the bank, the Florida of the NPP. Now what you know Basim. Now what you care about say me baba ye you know. Yes. Abrantie yare na no afa na passport come my clinic. Now what you kejetia na wo ton bofra na wo ton we yare a. Kolebukura ya feza kolebukura bia wontimi fa kaba. You see, we need to understand politics. It's not about the individuals involved. It is about the collective interest of the people. Politics, emotions, don't expect that people will come and sit on TV or be defender. Because that is not the nonsense of politics that we do. Yeah, the say. We just look at the critical issues at play. How are Ghana for benefit? How do we chart a new political narrative? Young people out there who will be inspired and they'll be interested in politics. Because you see, we've got into a time, I'm for free, conmen and their politics. And they'll be free school, but I just free, so comment their politics. Yes, because of free school by I know the VAT, no tax, I say, or easily going as for Chroma will be getting richer overnight. They don't ask where they are getting those things from. But they do these things at the expense of the poor masses out there, and that the very people who will be out there say, yeah, defend their man for but this politics of defense. Oh, you know, car for 9 so be better than paracetamol crowd to be to be. Now what one Okoji Nipa na who didn't unrespected. They don't even know your name. As some to a onimu baby. What as a minimum man for muko political campaigner or free cast to talk from Obia Crama feels over hell. What I say? So young fire drain your politics near who said near mana will benefit us as people. Your collective interest not about honorable Oko Nipano 100 Ghana city, 1,000 Ghana city, Ubedia we no young farmer. You understand? But let us build institutions and systems, put them in place just to ensure say a man politics in a year and a benefit a man for now this politics of negativity and criticizing because we are in opposition. Yen just say a term you understand. So I think that the also about this thing there is no D levy that has been introduced. There is no new levy. So Momugu social media or misinforming a man for no. There is no new levy. Existing levy has been revised and one city has been added to it, and it is going to pay for the shortfalls. And that's for no man. Because energy sector levy na buy no senka omo de sika na ye de omo ye yanka e ka no ngu ho sa go to the energy sector and look at the debt egu ho enti o ma me na betua na papa na betua and this is the time for her because my culture say senka price is still our 17 cedis can we never sit here and justify this but enam say timi atia ba for mama Ghana for any relief no that one cedi no people will not feel it, you understand, and I think this is the argument and whenever they are making it look like say John Muhammad one cedi abeto petrol no so but the atia free so no there they don't talk about it. That is the level of dishonesty choking of politics I'm a man for GD or politics yeah
solo yansha OSP ne Ken you see I said declare the wanted to be ne lawyer say muntimi nko US ona mo nko hwe say akwa no yare ampa o yare
na second for you can for at on OSP na Kocaine. They are fooling all of you. Can overrate me no can say busy or any passport to Hajima or your American passport to Hajima. You grow my own CBO. Or my first can. Sana ne papa and ne Akufo-Addo papa in 69 on be. Ne Akufo-Addo papa ne ceremonial president. Anna Ken papa ye finance minister. Ano me for my nisika. Omo broke go. E kan ye two
when I would be condemned because I'm not quite FM baby. I was saying I treated me about Heidi.
Ghana for now per se.
I'm in Friday holiday until I will draw my attention to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You couldn't punch in.
Sa. I see. Me number for no more. Muslim for no say distance to the omato ponchini nantwi pa.
I remember be already.
Said 92.3. Ivan Ghana Kocaine.
Oh, Alaska. I think that the cost one na ye hwe. I say yeah, see ye hwe sini.
Okay.
And I think that it's sad say yeah politics now they do a point of accountability. And na emma than emma. They are not willing to stand up to because sa akokoti ne akakabensema they enjoy power no. When it's time for accountability, one will expect the same attitude now. Yes, but unfortunately, no. Today, Diana and Mema Diana na Sabi the Anyara cross or Yare. The Owa Kenya to travel to this country also to be my Zoom.
Serious
nasty stuff I also. And there be a catcher. You see, in the last 8 years, some of us took it upon ourselves. We are advocating for Ghanaians to know the true nature of these people. No, there are people who are saying so we were anti-government enthusiasts that very often things negative about Akufo-Addo na buying. But these are the things that not yehu from afar. Not many people were not seeing. Nipa no mudi and nimno are not genuine people.
That's right.
These are wicked people. Like more of an abedi president no monya Kenya because in their personal life, they never thought of political power. About 2 more crime. In the last kind of 2 ways is here now offer Biafra as my baby president, I enjoy it. You feel say you are not accountable to anybody. So Obiti said, Kenoforiata say, it didn't look like he was accountable to even people within the NPP.
Exactly.
That is why that beef a breaking up between this Kumasi MPA through Kumasi Omokotu ni. No, and she something doctor.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, and then other people because there were people who were ready to stand up to him. Said no, parts in your dear. Your opposition crying. We didn't even see you. All of a sudden, off another president, and you are taking reckless and foolish decisions. At the end of the day, endanger only the prospect of the MPP as a political party, but Ghanaians as well. In the end, the future of MPP and
that's right.
The future of Ghana for the So I think that Ghana time has come. As a young your boss who said no. As here the NDC and MPP in the twin chain. The area on your MPP no NDC or your Cromfort, and we need to hold them accountable.
That's right.
And that particular way, we need to do it with a manner. You're very ruthless. But unfortunately, very often emotionally charged party supporters. Now, I'm going to say I'm for bus from Kumasi. You see a bar crab because you actually want to me. And then I'm a catcher CaptainSmart to say, are you aware? So in the last 8 years of Akufo-Addo administration, there is no single project. It cost to $50 million. TME.
Okay.
There is no single project. It cost to $50 million under Akufo-Addo that was started and completed under Akufo-Addo. Kumasi, the whole of the Ashanti region. But wouldn't to me one person to me pocketing over $55 million. And the guy even investment wouldn't to me muno a so change the whole of the Ashanti region.
That's right. Just a single person.
A single person. Now no pocket is a sika way na mrabasa on be account to. Now wo here ni ba na o ma me yare ase be kejeti akura no wa clinic e wo ntumi mfa no nko. And I would defend you be on beti metwa plenty and obi ti mayo clinic no.
That's right.
So I'm saying there's a Ghana for nit na yehunyansa. There are certain nasty political advocacy and certain engagement. People will drop because Nipa na catch us all political power no move away nyashi onimu din. Asem to crowd feel, but asem to no dia wona wa ba boso age agina na wokwa kodi Nipa na chi.
Me wa asem no crowd unim ho hwe. Anya onti ase.
Asem no nya so onim ho hwe onti ase. Say asem wo ti ase na be huhu bibi. But sana ya politics no but we say enhran kanya me say na
MP Eugene Boachi Antwi.
Yeah, Eugene Boachi Antwi. Yes, he's the person. People are coming home. So Alaska me starting with kind of Oriata issue no. I think that is very bizarre. Say obia otena krom ha. Ghana boy enu nyina no ye pe one person or you involved in every single decision am Ghana be wie ya. You cannot delete the Kenoforata factor from any of the discussion.
That's right.
So the larger corruption puzzle now you try to unlock, you know. Kenoforata is the masterpiece. Every single corruption case we have been or you involved, because do you know why? Because he was at the finance ministry. Or don't know the final check winner, sika payment we have because we are on your way.
That's right.
And or your person of interest in every single corruption case Ghana akoso. So it is only right and fair so such a person, you know, about availing who to security and agency say. Adiana mo can say net here, minya ni sika, say net here. Now we can proceed to the next stage. But my culture said, me better now video so catch you say corner or corner nyado so beba.
Yeah, you said it.
Onye na dwen so beba. And onim say nsam na ye de abono no oni anu ye. So he will be playing games. Unfortunately for him, when you're special prosecutor or no, when it comes to some of these comic gimmicks now, or
that's right. But
Dr. Ren interview you can make catch and say, and yam and one was say, Kizia Jabimba by press conference, Manu and see also a press conference, and I'll find a life. So that is his modus operandi. Ente kasado do ani nsem
on the Ghana of Diagro.
Exactly, because engagement na echoes between Onene Kenoforata and Alaska, you move 1 step inch. And there hasn't been anything because Cecia Manoka say Kenoforata shall say back and forth, no, for us to show say you're serious no, and can asset bia you suspect say proceed out of the criminal dealings in this country, no, should have been frozen by now.
Exactly.
Every single asset.
But yes,
should have been frozen. But the gentleman still, and again, you say you need to Interpol red alert and a whole lot of stuff. Putting somebody on Interpol red alert, you know, and no, it's not a concluded way. Say what the neighbor room. Because this is a guy. No, Pioneer may catch CaptainSmart said the guy is playing I am sick card, and it's very difficult to evacuate Obi Osoya.
That's right.
On a humanitarian basis, you cannot force him out. And on you willing to come. Ultimate travel to other jurisdictions. Recently, he was in the UK, according to sources. At a restaurant. So it means the guy is mobile. He can move around. Obetimi sit in plane. So question be as you hear so obahabeya no bia no. Obetimi aba, but he's not ready to do that. And he's telling us say Ghana for you ready. And before that, no what come 2nd June. 2nd June what tenase my time no so we na oba catch and say, oh. When you cancer, now the doctors, and I make as me as a medical person, Obinya Yarea, I only sympathize with the person because
right.
I know the pain the ordeal that you need to go through. But can you for that yare and then on on how the finance minister, you when the TS is waiting so yare that. Oh, now Timus and Oyare. And the on Oyara no is not a new news. Yanti be that. But the fact is, are you immobile? I idea immobilized, bedridden, I won't move. The answer is no. So what is stopping him from coming? And then baby are all twisted at the end of the aquafano. A man for things that are very easy. Say or see a Zoom. Now on authorities in the cooperative I am telling you, sir, Zoom some now or can yet Sakako. You can in a criminal proceedings, I will be sitting in other jurisdiction. US award that mutual legal assistance way with other countries. But Ghana no, you know moon nisa, you near corporation.
Okay.
So the corporation, and I'm saying the gentleman is in other jurisdictions, you know. So person wouldn't engage in that procedure, a criminal procedure and the consequences in the future. And say, all the evidence never court. And now say, evacuating it in our crew, say, no, you need to go to the appropriate channel. Our US laws will have to come to play. So your friend be letter rogatory, which the Attorney General here will have to write a correspondent to the AG department in America
right.
to notify them that there is this person of interest. Or you're involved in criminal activities here. We want to investigate him.
Or you're fugitive.
Fugitive or whatever. You're per se investigating, no. And for that matter, no, you hear more assistant just to collaborate with us. Be a bit even I that video conference and as for no. Sana evidence now bet me a dear free nipa no hono. Standard the test of prosecution or court because I only know question dan chamber na kwa ye no. No, but no say asem na make they force me to. I did it under duress.
That's right.
That piece of evidence now when you know cannot stand the test of prosecution or law court. I be man say a foolish case, and there are other regulations that are coming in place. A born whole by making sure say. Sanya money, you have to go through. So the processes that Kenoforata is asking for, it's a long haul. And yeah, easy. And again, this is a guy what demonstrates that he's not willing to come.
That's right.
And Alaska, I'm saying, sir, Obia all play, I am sick card. Won't mean for son of Adama. So also ma, because in the first place, you had not to Interpol red alert said the Kwisia Jabia can making it look like say a question the number. Obia ni baby or so US.
Kwisia Jabia or to me this John Awewu Kokot, Master John Awewu no etumi dibim. Dabio
Alaska. So Interpol red alert na near brig other branch and no. The guy is in America. He's telling you I'm sick. I can't come. And this is FBI kofa Kenofurata Ochena. Na omode ye fe say niam agugu ne nsa na obie na no ka say meyare I'm seeking care in this hospital. FBI cannot extradite him.
That's right.
For them to extradite him, no, it will have to be determined by a court of competent jurisdiction under American law. What you have to do is say I'm going to find the medical records nyina or US court meyare I am not fit to go. And the court will have to determine either say the gentleman is fit. Say obetimi atena play mu akọ Ghana akọ stand prosecution because prosecution are grele or no it takes a lot from you hypertension in as for no ma untumi kwa na o ma man for baba no pie ba no so hu no so it's a hell of a
as you can say na ukura na utumi na nto ko bampo na nei wada na apachi mema o
yes until you can imagine second for attack Otoma on the ababa no so these are the realities and he's just playing games and playing on the minds of Ghanaians, making look like I am ready to come, I am ready to cooperate, I'm ready to do this. But the reality, he knows that processes now all Kasayan subjecting to know. It's a long haul.
Exactly.
Because Attorney General have to sit down, engage, get clearance from the US Department. We can equally do it through the US Embassy just to quicken the process. Now we are. Now said the gentleman is not coming, and then what is the point? So my argument has always been, sir, you see,
our assets were Ghana.
Yes, we need to be very radical, making sure, sir, putting him on internet, your friends say Interpol red alert, you know, it doesn't change anything. Because China, say, oh, play, I am sick card that you can't force him out. And so what I'm saying is, say special prosecutor without Kenoforiata can proceed with your criminal case. Another day, you give him options or wave and say or sin and no some about try to paper so manufacture to paper so and then the lawyers are here, just engage them.
So we can try him in absentia.
You can try him in absentia. Because if he's not willing to cooperate, if he's not willing to come and or say the lawyers are nipa na adon ya transia mana jampe ekwa awie dey na betimi aye and he's in another jurisdiction. You can't force him. Ghana any extradition treaty with the United States of America. Amono money ye wo. Okay. And the America betimi aba have for obi na ko ba ye no ye kwa akofo obi na ba is a different thing altogether. It can only work on mutual cooperation, not any treaty. What I say?
That's right.
So you see the complexity. So Kenoforata no onim we nyina ne lawyers nim and playing I am sick card no cement the every strategy be o ma adopt. Enti kesia jabe de oya no nyina ya me say emotional campaign na na pai na me catch say sa office of the special prosecutor the decommission no nyansa bia anim fa so bia ani so a waste of taxpayers money.
Yes the agree there.
Oh yes, because
if I understand how I may take what you are saying there. And now ya here MB before ya na one move to my say perceived some here corrupt officials and now corrupted. And then omunya kwa no mu yifim no kodo America. I'm sick oh.
Oh na say Alaska. You see
me pebre na gu ho.
Na me obi dwane akọ no. Eno no enye we yo. This is your country. Say obabo kro no nti adwane akọ akwatena ba bia that is up to you. Me that alone na nkasa is sentencing for me.
Okay.
Because this is your country. As any dignified person, you should be proud to be able to come to your country and go any point in time. But if bibinti say won't be ma ukroma. You say you try was you. Okay. And in the villages in those times, you know, the biggest crime will be committed. Try was you. One kasa ukro near win to me, ma'am. That alone for me is enough. What I say? The obi and just over Ghana. Let the person go. Maslog mami I can as a mean. Say ya sentence no.
That's right.
Also play am say card dey be sort ho. Why ukro near won't me, ma'am.
And you ohuni mami obana wabokro.
Alaska.
We dwane fi.
What be na o sabi wo mami awu na papa wo ba kura awu na won't me ma yie. again sentence say adnya hwe wo da haya kra de a obetimi haya kra. So for me that is enough. And that tells you the criminal intent with which these people rob this country. And to more motiva no mo so yet krom ha papa kwasi ndiom etimi create nyuma fa manfo ya adwuma.
Asem we na babeka
note ya woka. Ye fe na adwuma wura. Ewie na papa na dan eka wura. I say a car is so kwasindium no amana ba kokora by force because a man for businesses or no one kasa ni businesses ni na se for nom okobi ade be say friend Gold Coast hwan a man for I have a friend who is a medical doctor.
Fund management.
I have a friend who is a medical doctor. As at now, the 40,000 shame, there be about no so obi dear 1 billion, obi dear 2 billion. Nina shame, Nina because of this kind of writer. Because at the time I told you we had an option because you see, financial sector having this liquidity challenge around the world is all over. So what you need to do is say, as a finance minister, you strategy. I look at the American example in 2008 when they introduced the TAP, that is the Trouble Asset Relief Fund. Your friend saying, waited by Obama, or making sure all trouble assets, you know. The giant businesses in America, like JP Morgan Chase, and then as if one go and buy them.
That's right.
And they bought them and revive all of them. I know that they Fannie Mike and other companies, you know, were able to revive and they employ more Americans to work. This is a guy who is so dangerous to the stand. Say, Onua banks know himself these banks in as for because of political vindictiveness, he decided to collapse these banks. I know that they. Obi or your bank manager or book quote or kware na yere because of a bank manager so we say ma super quote in
that's right.
All of a sudden nipa na dan ototo prako
contrary
from bank manager to obi ototo prako. You can imagine say the we see assess our life amount all of a sudden they did all these things when we had an option. So can for that time man for see hu no mobo no ono de team audio we are free ajaben ajaben say ono can for that time net we di nkomo amoaben
UT bank
yes ono kra bo can for that abosia or kwani village akwakoda oda na ne ma friend wo phone so ka chen say awunyante ye o bank ne ya wawa ye bubugu police fo ebubu bank nugu aya wawa everything atimodin and this microphone way and you operate okroma even Rollins kra no ye military person no did not use those methodologies
here aya Asiedu Agongo yes Asiedu Agongo awo asem wo court nti
ontimi oni e bank
our court it has nothing to do with the bank
yes
but Oguni bank
yes
and that's also wasem wo so must we also say wasem awo on my court it will nyuma wo nyina yengu no and here is about MPP people will come
maybe because in the bank I'm friend saying data bank
that's right
it's still operating and the nana ye pe wache wa so
insurance
so Alaska so you see how dangerous near man crofo ye no kroma say enti obi ye na dwen say use the same measure to go after that. That is why I told you the last time say when power is slip into the hands of a fool they think that they are sitting on the moon and they use this same power to destroy themselves, destroy everybody. But on them say onim nyansa ntin and that kind of for that say now relax it now play back the mind and near my why no chroma or no be who say my bone etiam crofo way braba you are no say ma so one of the day obiti baby no so MPP ni ntino me ko ye demonstration na kind of for that na why say ya you should know say binyansa na new team because the time the gentleman was operating with impunity with that team order yeah ko ba na se for there were other options he could have and na papa kwasindium o yare shedem
oh that's right
wabubu no kra atwesie na nko abrante ya no ye beige capital there was a time we were traveling across the country me say every single village bi abakobia na abrante we be bank just trying to bring financial help and accessibility to people at the rural areas.
Back syndrome on the branches in the commercial bank.
Alaska,
Ghana.
These businesses, you know, you see, and yeah, easy, sir, because of people they were dealing with, you know. So challenges and those there, but you as a sensible government, you find a way to how to handle them because government is also support to some of this enterprise to grow. Because I know the day, say enterprise new grower. To go for some mayor juma Ghana for no mudo so the burden of unemployment our minor grapple with no so they pay taxes and our minor move because a growth of an economy is just about financial transactions at Elkoba. So you're able to activate it down there. So it's not always the case at Miklosu Bank. But these people gave us all funny justification why they needed to collapse these banks. And aside that, Yanti Kroma and Mkra Etibiase Oko Norfa and Krama you free North Ebertana Yakaya ye. Na ya tam o man sikasi ye kwesi cathedral. A cathedral na yesiru nim se nyansa nim. yetena krom ha kanyansa se me say
I'm different na the way like
na no do ma hene kan asem bi say President Mahama investigate all the cases na Otutra Cathedral. I'm sure say he will know no peace in this country because asofo na omo ka ho a sa cathedral asem no baaye no we have to go after each of them.
And that's asofo ya po no madani prayer tower.
Yo ene de nyo obi asem Alaska oman sika na yehwehwe so cathedral no obi o ka ho bia sa kisi hwan sa machoman no sofo machoman no eno mo ka no ho ni nyina you see me say this time no we need to change the rules of engagement na yan rewrite the political narrative na yan hu say going forward no ufuma enya madam funi enemi nuani abiem because over the years that is the politics that we've been doing so obi anana me ka kire we say the difference between obi o NDC aban mu and now wanya post when to me the difference between you and no a time because you should know that time is coming you will be in to me's position
exactly
and when you to me na sabi o sinsem hunu ne nkwasem na wodi bedi a you should know say a time is coming once no oba be ye to me because the other to me e better obi wo there be that is when you don't do things well so me the American nyina no say kenoforiata modus of operandi ne na se for no the gentleman enya ready so ba kroma we will sit here next year ye ba betena ha be can say kenoforiata still no my because nsema okekan o se obekọ ye friend say okoye surgery
obekọ cancer
cancer surgery so there complication you know to me and as to whether recovery when na cancer no kura nyama no yare dada nipa no nam ho no yare dada so da be na no ho beto no but my point is that Kenoforata Yobia if he is willing to come into this country the state securities will take into account his present medical situation. You can arrange with them. You can come. Say by ya in cautionary statement, whatever bia no just provide because what may yatina ha chen you didn't come. You understand? Now what tenasia my 2nd June deadline we and son about catch and say your schedule. Ebasa say you don't respect the people. And for me that is the card that he's playing. And that disrespect, that vulgar attitude or mode at the servo Ghana for that time, you know, is the same attitude today. Because sa brena na omu take his decisions are bosia born ye nyansa nim ye ko Eurobon ye kwagina ye kenke party ye levy na ye edi huru Ghana for that belligerent posture attitude na no mumu obia no that is the same thing in play here. So for me I think that is good say Ghana for how disappointed Ghanaians are because of various social media people are really angry because ordinary as Ghanaians you know sanko obi yare Alaska we sympathize with the person.
That's right.
But at this point, and I'm the Kenoforata INT, you don't even see anybody sympathizing with him because of the why the cancer diagnosis sorry.
Yeah.
But that's not what people are saying. A man for say, Wawu or Tiasio, young cocaine form, Obukura Fremen, says, said a message to him, say, ni evacuation near complex, and then the young kidnapping the unfinished about Tom. Ghana. Because that is the only way, you understand. But for me, I think say first case you know Ntim free special prosecutor that guy is only playing games.
No already he's from there. No will never appoint somebody on yet.
And you see why this issue you know here because Cecilia the pie issue no fire and I dying foolish case you know. Matisa Yoko for I recommend this on docket in America.
That's right.
It means that the gentleman is not doing anything or he's just from fooling everybody because no. And then the number for one you know where he's coming from.
That's right.
And Saka Sabnes and Yamana Makoto bulletproof car say Ajumano Akuko Cram for Akukon court. Nano Matisse say or the take and no special prosecutor mandate, you know, and I don't buy it. Massa. Sajman now all this service and other people, if they are really working, they can get these people to get our money back. You understand? The intent and the purposes for the establishment of the office of the special prosecutor from day one, Makato Sinyansa in Fasuni. So a further drain on the public resources. We need to decommission that particular way, scrap it and resource the AG department, resource Yoko and other institutions with the prosecutorial powers to go ahead and do prosecution. Now you're making sure your prosecution, you're really serious. And Alaska, apart from Untumi and Kono, there are several other people in the coming days, you know. I think that the same approach that we need to. And for me, it cannot just be Yadnako Yoko, na gidi ya money bill. No, ya who sa issues, ya who be bre, eko Yoko ba die. to media, no, everybody is following.
Oh, that's right.
Me say we need to change the political narrative in this country. Say enya hia for mu ko wi ankontomre nkwan na ko prison. Enya wo mu wi aponche nkwan ne. Amam for mo tenati we millions of dollars in the name of dirty politics. You know, they must begin to see the inside of jail. Sabe ye be serve as a lesson because in the past Chachuchi Kata no man ko da jail.
That's right.
Sir Victor Solomom na say for and I heard the amount of money involved in sika won ko da jail and ne we a obesu.
Enra abranche bi ehumanu ehwemanu ka do Alaska we nkosi ba bia na wo de hwe anam se boss wo ya mesere na the JM second coming when anyasa JM na wo hu mura atwam no we aye ne legacy term na obe jailing no I am telling you
Alaska na me ka say whether John Mahama will be successful or not, and that is up to him. Ghana right. For your idea the 2 million amount. The other bay is what determines your future. You have a freeway. I say your top brand new car man the Kusi highway so amount. Your city as well beko. As I was winty as them because send there wow beboa.
That's right.
Time has come as all right the political narrative. Na you who say Ghana na manfo who say oh people in the name of politics you know. And I'm saying you see structure politics and any fool at all can just jump in say me to me.
Serious.
Abranti ya mobo ni din. Yes also open national chairman ye din.
Won to me.
Yes.
And I only me say na dia we kran asanda ni campaign platform na ma wo.
Yes.
And then call NPP headquarters. I will be an ordinary apache on to me in Casso say why yet is when you're my stroke and I'm not to 29 and also chairman do benye di na just quote I said the general secretary.
Now we are serious. Acquire the Catera Macakraca no Akafa with some general secretary. Casa grown to me in Casa. Oh, when you're serious. And I'm a Casa, you see, the MPP need to take time to rebrand themselves because you see the intellectualism caveat tonight, they are trying so hard to delete from the element of the party. And the video
are we a divisions of
Alaska? And do you see any signs of reasoning in that act they do? Because want to me Casey, want to me second day no money bail. Second day no money bail.
That's right.
Omo reason say bail no so. Me catch us say in 2012 Wyoming was giving 54 million.
I have all the materials.
Alaska atuesi ye okoda we. O man 600 million. Nam one ya man 500 million bail. 500 million.
Atuesi o man 675 million.
Okay.
Kofi Amuabe 110 million.
Okay.
Kwabena Dufo. O man no 100 million bail. Okay. And now on San Kwan and in Crawford and about 650 million.
Okay.
So
yes, number one 500 million.
Number one 500.
So if they gave that joker a 50 million, you sit there and tell us when the amount involved in his we no cry far larger and bigger than. And I'm say these are intellectuals. You see, emotions have eaten the bigger part of their brains, so they are just acting emotional. No rationality in the way and manner they operate. So for me, want to make case in the so on this kind of issue, I'm saying, say, President Mahama, as a matter of urgency, must find a way to scrap this special prosecutor. And Sasikana Yadeko on found resource the AG department at every region. You're making sure the Attorney General department are very effective.
Right.
I will good lawyers and prosecutors at any point in time because you see, we cannot center all the cases in Accra. And the coffers are crowded because the number of people who are supposed to face prosecution.
That's right.
Let us divide them. Young Fabinum go home, Fabinum Kotamaleta Chimana, Yenia 7 and 10 time. We cannot hold all of them here in Accra. What I say? Now you're making sure that we are really making a progress. Now, special prosecutor Ujana and Kwano Mana Nobato, Nyansa Sembi and Free Homa.
But I say, Ivan Kyei innocent and I tell you, can we try more Basima me ba? Alan the graft cancer at Tanase. Now, maybe I may well send me a catch up about special prosecutor. Maybe if you want me back this year.
Ahuto FM 92. Oh la la! Ahuto 92.3 FM. Adim fish.
Ramsa sighting in Yama. Or the Nina ye will. Edema.
But you see, Alaska and Kofu. Do you know what buffer and that? What are we going to see tomorrow? We are not going to see anything because in our case, we have put court of conduct. Who a minister? Who penas or ye bema? Fum.
That's right.
Mo ena krono do komo. And I catch someone declare more asset and you refuse to declare it. In our case, when they refuse to declare, it was a public publication. Everybody got to know the number of ministers that did not declare or government appointees that did not declare. Look, we have put measures in place to ensure that our people are not culpable. And in between the lines, if they found culpable, they will be dealt with.
That's right.
So this issue of tomorrow, it will never come. This issue of tomorrow, it will never come. Look, they should be dealt with. Obia wafagan isikebi.
Commercial governor. Me won't say ni lawyer. Any party lawyer.
And I think that there is a reason why maybe wouldn't be other people saw him fake, because over the years, who know? Quite of us saw in the politics. It's totally different from the NPP. Can who be? And I'm a finance. I can't so to no free baby or the story you remember. And so it's sad, you see. Want to me she way again political prominence because of this same cheap emotional politics. The NPP seem to be leading even in opposition. I may expect to say about now no you move beyond that chapter. The question is want to me arrest no more arrested no according to them yes and lawful. Yamfa kwan papa so no mo che no. And another point I make us and the national security for instance koto keteni pintini omo kwachi obi ano mo no mfa ni animu so and say you show respect but Alaska so obi kura arrest warrant. I don't know what the person in here again.
That's right.
And in the past won to me ankwachi na asoro dem o chachuchi kata anko no asoro dem nyina no mo kwachi nipa ayantia na dampare ko asoro dem no mo kotwa ho hia se yakwachi mede
lawyer sosu
Alaska near Marcus Okroma, but me that politics of equalization, no, I'm not even interested in. So a dear bang and a course or a breach, and the appeal could be back.
That's right.
Papa, because I saying
I see Yoko for
a presente arrest warrant. You understand? And no more the fan. No, I know the day issues na yeah can't say wound to me. I no none of these people in their public. You have no more any no or be anywhere. Or center and discussion and any of the issue. For instance, there's a branch and a coins of the
FM 92.3.
In the first place, kilometer per kilometer no more demand then it was around $800,000 per kilometer. Or more demand around $1.5 million per kilometer. So that alone no you just inflate here and the amount one yet. So $45 million contract. Abine ST ya say contractors yentu obi aka no at that point no e na kwabranete ekotina finance ministry e no hwie sika ni nyina agu na account chairman ye ko nti ye ne nsa kan ye no quickly na okoyi free account no mu Alaska sanema way is plain sight chrono when you have not presented any concrete evidence show say why you adwuma Azim bank yes akwaji loan fine loan di obi etimi kokwaje but the question is sika na akwaje ye no yes I would documents in dem are present ye no e wo hefa is it because you had that privileged position as a chairman of a political party anything na ye dem ma ana untimi okro my track record be na chere say ya fan say odo aburo Alaska okon kranza ne kentampa eye mrante ne mayo o ye ready they need money to do some of these things because that is what they do best. Sasika na nsanka but ya beremo obi a oya party chairman. Now sika Onua nim so nkodua bro baby ya. Na wa sika no. And I'm challenging the people in the Ashanti region say they should go around and tell us make ya fan saying phase 2 of KJ ya fan saying sa airport na mo see and phase 2 and no we know when it started na for this project in Besina as to whether it's complete or not. Somebody should point to a single project in the Ashanti region that was started by Kufuado. Now all end yeah. Now cost no a year above $55 million. Oh, Kumasi, but this is a single individual. Me say we pocketed more than $55 million. Because Anya she no offer Azim Bank $10 million. Now what the contract no $45 million where I say $55 million choppable US dollars. Yeah, the top players. Oko Barcelona and Real Madrid. Sasikano. Alaska. Obia ya American politics for 40 years. The new who says can be that.
That's right.
America almost $40.
Obia no $1.
Yes. Oh, most of the now by that kokonya says can no konya no hefa. In mu be na de koka ho. Most of the top politicians in America have never seen 50 even $20 million crowd being moved that. But sabi obiti say won to me. Or kasa to me say be akra dwene na identity memory ni ye am say 1 kilobyte. But politics be na abantia. Na or no or mine sika boom because or a chairman of your first a political party. And there are several of his kind, no baby. Issue nabano. Why don't we focus on the main issue? Again, now my catchers I want to me call that prison, no, or call that yoko no. Second day, no moment. Bail. So what was the NPP waiting for? Omotena sia ma brantia no dem 4 solid days kan ho. Na Baumiaba, your friend say Asimfosu Elon Musk aba, we aba, obien ho timi secure.
Asimfosu Elon Musk.
And I say oh skache we be Ghana.
Asimfosu Elon Musk.
They could not secure bail for the gentleman. We are Adam no what asem be sansi here. Aduane omo bra na aduane di no o say omo party ni bia mra na aduane the last time omo bra na aduane di o ne jonkuma no poison omo nti no.
So you see I'm
Nipa no mu go abonti omo so omo ye demonstration omo tete form no. O catch security for making sure say aduane omo de bra no every party ni ho na eba na mra bia atwa omo we confirm bia
any jonkuma ko.
Exactly. So even within the party trust the crowd and why you ding. Ono a odem amose mo koma no osuro se aduane mo de bra no kwaro mo nhwe ye se enkofiri ba bi na beba. And this thing is on record. Alaska, so the fact in this, you see, these people are only believe in sensational politics. Oh, you blow the thing out of proportion. But watching it now as an intellectual, and how we engage in is okay, fine. You want to be what them I'm so me, I sympathize with you. What are the issues? One family and discuss it. Nothing sensible. Because was he not granted bail? He was granted bail. Ombaka said bail no so now you more be 500 million bail. Number one, no credit to me to ya. No be a no di go do radio station catch us always catch you be Otwi Ferrari ne or Koto Chelsea Football Club no and 50 million on to me. These are jokers. Alaska. And so woman nipa them for 5 plus extra 4 days because we want to mean secure bail. And I know so buy politics so way back. Says na your friend Brian Champo so di gini di ma say say no so per president.
Oh yeah.
Ghana politics. Brian Champo so per president di.
That's right.
Obi ana no shakechi ono aduane ma so.
But one was a standard and another best set wo MPP Muntino. I warranty so obi because another to make the president now about
no Alaska no. The thing is that we've monetized and weaponized the entire political stage. So wherever you come from, just have money. Once you have, you see, your politics, has nothing to do with Nipani Nimyansa, our vision, our ideas, or your intellectual, our vision. Because when people saw Kwame Nkrumah Day, people saw vision, people saw Nipa, and that's how money is not part of our politics anymore. So any fool, I'll be laying their hands on cash. The next thing that comes to their head is, I want to be president.
Any day.
Any fool. And in the coming days, you will see a lot of fools coming up, wanting to be president. A lot of fools will be showing up, coming because presidents, the veil, just say, there is no aura of decency surrounding our presidency.
So just have money.
Just have money. Now, Baba. Nyesika na nipa we sabi akurasi assembly man cry they do some don't even fit to contest or catch us obedi o man no daache now because o man we obati man daache wo hefa if these are the fools who are going to leave this country. Yes. Alaska, these are people who are preparing say we want to lead Ghana in an era where technological advances are taking countries elsewhere. Look at the advances China is making. Look at the US. And now people they are even moving beyond smartphones. Are going extra. Man for the your friend is saying Nema Hodwa, sir, your friend say Elon Musk in the way people using your brain to control computer and then I say for them electronic tattoo. Yes, Alaska people are wearing electronic tattoo. It collecting with health data. That is the level the world is facing. And instead of us to put intellectuals in place, we are emotionally canvassing and advocating for fools because they have money. So a time will come. Me say the so-called intellectuals now very often, even though intellectual they are all dishonest because of greed.
92.3.
Because people in academia, on radio, so don't know.
Oh, that's right.
Depending on my biology, they discuss the issue. So I know the day, they don't also the politicians fighting for position. The same name and fighting against, they become that thing. so obi say so man da ache wo he ade ba greed intino Ghana mind we enye ye da until say you better ase and make sure say we put somebody or you very ruthless but very sensible in place.
On drink how our politics better.
No. Alaska, if we don't bend and make that change, now you set it that you write it out 10 red lines now, we will continue to experience some of these things. And I told the idea you have emotional people wrapping up to go and a more and I wouldn't be by within his ranks, he feel like he's a hero.
That's
and
right.
okay, when in the picture, now wearing no career hagging chamayo, and he thinks that he's a hero. So there is no shame in chrono. I will say all that you have to do is still more. You get fools who will be praising you. You understand?
But only one funny aspect is they now minority no abandon parliament. Say one more now until say want to me build this will be very answer number with Emra and Pennyful leaky some of the near mind Omuchi want to know. No mama drivers are found now supporters no for me job
because okoni fia cast someone unim say oko America and Canada there is a syndicate, some are from Ghana, some are from Nigeria. What they do is all cars you are na.
That's right.
They are shipping there, but because some of these things, and I'm told, say, those cars, and I'm the back room, he is one of the persons who have been buying some of them. These are part of the cases, even though they are not proofs. Yes, so you see, out there, the investigative bodies are after some of these cars because our system, what the bar wanting, as for wherever they can trace you and know. And America and other countries, and to say now, we are car sometimes they will just give you the room. They want to understand the extent of that crime, whether it's a syndicate that is operating or an individual. So sometimes you will be defrauding people in America. But they can allow you for about 3-4 years. And due to fraud ni or internet, almost say smart and I am now your transaction via your friend is saying via bank. Electronic transaction, everything. Do you know that every single dollar that comes into this country is accounted for by some of these international organizations?
Exactly.
There is no single money.
Code.
There is no single money that comes into this country and go through there is a world financial system, payment system. So there is no way as you can ever have people who don't know where those money are coming from. The people are just watching you sometimes, and some of the cases are so tiny, say you don't waste the resources. That is why sometimes they allow some of them to just pass through. But don't think say
right.
And they are all part of these cases. So to me case, people should focus on the key issues. And I'm also urging the government to say, you see, there are many people who are convinced the Omodi Ayeni Onua ya wie ha to make case cannot end here. Because me say so wafaka waje ezembango me I'm not interested. And sasini nsu a wase no na amanfo mo nam so mo virgin forest to me said no if nothing that guy must see the inside of a jail the omfansu nyansa.
Right. Ivan Kyei no say
Dedika mencha what if I think that issues are from there and also yawo kendoforia tana yawo to me issue
maybe our person or the fabia
yeah Dedika I think that my men started from to me case in answer
okay
and I think that issue and we've got into the end of it but the side aspect a certain snapshot to be a yani ebobo so the minority more parliament a catch Ghana for say omonkoyo mojuma na mom omoko to solidarize with to me our national security and we saw Nema a course so M4D the course but behind those Nema nana air course there were critical questions and that people were not asking. Captain, the gentleman was granted bail in Ababe 4 days ago. The bail condition, they have 50 million Ghana cedis.
Pew.
Yes. The NPP made it look like, say, a bin sida in the life of Ghana. A Kana yede to wound to Misono. There's a coming nowhere close to the Yahubida in this country. And most of the interviews are not big wings within the party. I say, Omashada Asalapi wound to me with 50 million Ghana cedis. I buy it to me. intentionally, they don't want Wontumi to be built. But Captain, my men drive back to 2012. Abra, first Wyoming case, Wyoming case, the amount of money involved there is 51.2 million Ghana cedis. The gentleman was slapped with 54 million bail condition as far back as 2012. So it is not a DABC Ukromada. And he was able to meet the bail condition, granted bail, and the subsequent way on for the year. Now, no one Papa na friend at Wesi and they say on any for D or bank is Sikano. Do you know the amount of money that was slapped on them? 600 million and over. 600 million compared to 50 million. So I know that they are not more was much ado about nothing. Just trying to whip public sentiment. Because the real and the core issues at the center of Wontumi case, are far bigger and larger than the in the case of your friend say Wyoming. Wontumi case, even one case involve a whooping sum of about $45 million. I can be nowhere close to amount of money and about Wyoming. Again, that's why Azim Bank $10 million is even bigger than the amount of money I can have. And this we are now be bailer. You heard the amount of money involved in the criminal way na why no. They are so amount bail because the idea is say nipa no dwane state no more at least the bail condition can defray the extent of cost na yabo no. So very often na bail no so change sikana yesi wedi no. But they want to make case 50 million is nowhere close to your friend is saying $45 million and even $10 million. And assassin was saying no. And these people were trying to whip public sentiment into this particular issue. Say, lose focus on the criminal activities now. I say, pay attention to. Because for me, I'll be very much concerned about the destructive nature of Wontumi's businesses. Natural, you can say, forest, the devastation of what cause to your natural, you can say, environment. And on you put value and money on it. I'm not sure, say, and at the time, now Wontumi nama all kobase nsuo ne nsase. We didn't see the minority, the then majority, or anybody on his right senses. All cultural brands ade a wo ye wo say nsuo ne nsase enti ebeya hasting slowly. Because enam say sika no ba ekoma omu nyina nya bidinti no nobody questioned that gentleman. And my culture obi onim nyansa wanya to me, he thought say he was sitting on the moon just doing things in a manner sabi. So at that point, they lost key on caution. They couldn't caution the gentleman. Say, "Adena now are dangerous." And again, political influence can be the man name say. Because you see, I'm a to make contract. The question is, track record ban or when it comes to say because we have contractors over the years, they are known for some of these things. But I'm saying the political connection. CaptainSmart is tell a contract. Every excavator crowd to be that. But what you do is a wage contract. And I feel I will show be what that expertise. Now, see can what slash it too. Now, what they have and I'm so find your coin. Then the hooping some not about her. And over the years, that is what we've been doing. So the gentleman na kwaje land say or kwaje kwan so oba ye. The question is that did he do it or yeah. Evidence was here. These are some of the things I was expecting the MPP to put out the fact out there. Say, and some na can't to a brand and so no. And kwan we no kwaje why evidence in here. When you speak to people in that particular manner, then people will know that the government is witch hunting the gentleman indeed. But the reality is that and some na can the criminal activities now why you are not even talking about it, you are not even interested, and you think we are still in 1990, we are still in 2000 where you can just say NPP NDC now man 40 years that emotional campaign, emotional politics, those things will not fly. It's the reason why the right thinking Ghanaian in society couldn't fall for some of the shenanigans in those kind of emotional campaign that was activated by the MPP. Now you're Kocaine form, now you're and America said these guys are not serious. They are still joking in opposition because you see, Captain, when you lose political power, you lose connection with the people. That's so right. As a right-thinking individuals, who lead such an institutional political party, what you do is you try to reconnect with the people by making sure, you become a voice, a representative. Because whenever a government is in power, it's a different thing. But opposition, you always try to bring the people to your side by making sure that you lead the conversation, direct the conversation. Say by I did goodwill ever fall to your side. But never no more, you go to social media, it's as if that's still your opposition. NPP still in power because every single Ghanaian on social media and as a forum, if you listen to some of the comment even concerns among for Kanyana, they are just trying to paint the NPP as if they are still in power because doesn't make sense. As an opposition party, you need to just restructure things and see how about approach it. But they still have this arrogant caliber of people still leading the chart of the party, and they think that they need to go ballistic. But then politics, the narrative, Ghana for are interested in the substance of the issues at hand. It is a to me issue now. Okay, bring the key fact. Eguho na can say now. Cause it's the same emotional campaign of Muweji in the case of the Chief Justice when they were saying that Pamu Chief Justice Amanako. When indeed fact on the matter, the evidence available, and the processes has been activated thus far. No, there is no infringement, there is no contradiction, there hasn't been any error that has occasioned anywhere. It is a whole cancer seminar based on what? Ma mena tena se the seminar on tiase or de court. So Onua kwagye unanimous no bi. Unanimous na no package o mo chicha ma amanfo no. Onua ya ma na package ni bi odi kofie. So that is how it is. Esa yehu se and then won't be Ghana for agro. People are interested in the real case, the evidence, and as a for because of social media, you know. Obi are not interested in politics, right? And then they are getting used to people are hooking on. Man for be so much interested in issues of politics. And don't think you can wage that emotional campaign. I don't know make catch say Abra omo general secretary no cultural say patriot you enko adenta kumifie no. What a comment you be say odwan when you were chopping your ladies, did you remember us? These are things say Ghana for need ho. They are not your ladies, did you remember us? These are Ghana for the only way, and then they say making sure say goodwill is on your side. When you have that thing, people will follow you. But when to make case it wasn't as if he wasn't granted bail. The gentleman was granted bail. All that they needed to do, he said somebody will pop up and say ma provided the sureties and but we now promises Canada Japan now. Party more your friend say asimfo su Elon Musk dey senka nema we no problem or to the bottom he could have paid. But Captain, the reality is that they were just finding and dancing around the whole thing. It took the gentleman 4 solid days in your friends Yoko custody. And now who know him say kwabrania ye week kwa ye ha and the church say political power. So wunya so who say would ye nyansa na to ho power is fleeting. Political power, time, emani very uncertain. And we need to me a fire nyansa there and treat people good and make sure that there is an expiry date. Our office be our say. Don't ever think say many to me and it will never exit. But unfortunately, because most of the people who get into political prominence in this country, majority are not intelligent. When they get there, they think that they are sitting on the moon. The expiry date will not come. But you see, power is fleeting. It doesn't matter how long you stay there. The expiry date will come. But either so you survive or not will depend on a nema wodo abrabo beye won to meet radio so na o yi gold ne diamond na se for the good TV so ana amanfo ebogye so no ano na ma na okasa akaka bensam no he never thought that time will come and he will be held accountable. So it's a message and it's a lesson to everybody in government today. As when you to me now what say be nkrase 7 nsemunu na be dia fe na obeka aka your girlfriend na wo no mo jai dada na obeto cars na se for amomo you should know say a time will come. The only difference between you and who to me is time, and that time will definitely come. A bar won't because you see the era where people go on TV.
The only difference between when you want to be a time.
Okay. And that time is coming. Time no so you can't stop it. I will be in a born and you can't stop time. Time is always running.
Time is gone.
Exactly. But to be safe, it depends on what you do during this time, and to make sure say you serve people with dignity. Yamma power no fa so amra so me ba sese abi Musa Kobichei e de abrante bi aba one of the radio station TV3. Captain, do you know what happened to me? Sa June 3rd disaster be esi here no. And a boy was a victim. Na nim nyina I think that he has undergone a lot of surgeries and as for no. We live in a country where there will be a disaster and a passerby will suffer such a devastation a bit difficult to the sense that we describing the gentleman has been left to his fate and onam kwan ho no stress sika and a Kobichei who now or try just to solicit some way be or the man so wow with no I think say you can contact him no help be the gentleman is in one of your studios boy na o read So politics now, your question is, how do we impact on people? Because I never disaster na see and I'm for lusu omoyere. Obi lusu ne ma, obi lusu na busi, obi lusu ne nine, obi anima say, but state has never okwa abroad. Oh yeah, adwuma campaign de bi na say okonya accident ya. So wuti ya and I say accident in a very way so wuntumi nya adwuma captain, you will be paid till you die. But in our part of the world, disaster na onim ho hwie o. Eye we na si na why victim. But nobody will go to his aid. It shows a power na politics na ye nyase ye de bebo ni power. Amanfo nya tumi na fe na ye de be ya kakabensem na sansem hunu no is the reason why you see people like Wuntumi na for all of them rushing into the political space because and them catch us politics and governance in our part of Africa no and give you prominence to intelligence, wisdom, then as for be any fool at all can become a leader at any point in time because Osikana as a forum. And it's consistently we've been driving ourselves into a hellhole. How do we get out? It is contingent on Menewo. How as people never rise out of emotional politics. Never making sure that governance is about us. It is not about some kind of fidelity via war and emotional attachment via war to individual and not any political party. Because young crow for no Chrome has a nipo munya to me no, they don't respect people. Omunipa onya to me afen odi bedin sem hunu. And what you na koton wani munya mana or the wani betu form. Let us sit back and make sure say the wielders of political power no will be held accountable. Now you make sure say sa to me no ye de be ya manipa anya impact also. Na obi ko din nsem huna enya wo na wokoba aboso na wakodi okogina dwam time na mekoko ama no. Say when the gentleman was in power no. What is a win to me be in the door say NPP for mra party da. But enne ya chena or fra say wo hiani no bra yoko na be dealers na akwa na yekobo wani a nkwase ani na yabo. Sa enne it's a lesson to every young man out there. Politics, let us sit and make sure, say, we direct people to do the right thing. Obedience, don't be fooled by your party. No, make sure, say, issue na no. You really understand it. Can you forget that? So, Otina Kruma Bon Quasia Bossian now, or Gana Quatra Bridge, or not, also per Zoom. Zoom no pe. Twitter no whatever man, oh, who she.
Anyway, Lucius.
Captain. Captain Darcy. Before my court mentions, I na Madam Fordjour Wenchi, a friend of Sabatu. What I saw over the weekends, let's call more information. Bina as I went to me and found out course. And you know, we are with the number. It's about to one man, the Marble. Now, Captain. Won't to me case in Wahoo. Minim na NPP for be persevere case here ankasa eye. Because the yoko for eye no. Ebi asipen. Enye won't me nko aso. The chair say yoko for ekọ ese be kwachire no. Ba nko se be kogina honom se be kwatu be kwatutu atu se ne na ono paint picture na manaye no. Obia ni won yokoye a okita sekan ana say obi koye gidigidi wo honom but the arrest warrant ne koy say be kwa akoche no na de meka kra say de di kan a ba chew ye wo mra e wo kurom ha sei emra a ehye offense institution no nsa no eche say be wakwanya say ana say that authority na be betimi ade me betimi achew enti de di kan no ba chew the to so mienu say any who kwan say be detain for more than 48 hours enti no edru sabre no ba ma bill enti no ne be hwe say obi mom e ba be den e be ba be belu enti say NPP for kwa be call honom no ho la ho ya lawyers parliamentarians wum animdifo ewum hunim bill condition na e wo honom. Then Pantia, Benina, Bacobo Dompim. Ewa Honum, Wabrequa Banti, I'm quite about fast meet the bill condition. Now, men, I don't mean I'm a NPP for air. Now, me who say, this will be home. I say, Obia yas near you be a ye. Ain't me another nano, not bad and a base to be home. Say, I quite to say, Wabwa maternity ward. There is no virgin in the maternity ward. And Tibana be holding now, Akron Forfan. But young Crawford allegations at the Dabeso say, either say Obi aye bibia, dachi bia or also her quan say, near better ye wound to me no, or also obeying, obey Kumubi. Because say what ye wound to me lawyer. Now no Friday. What you say, na man no de maturity year adwuma. Na our friend say be ayi director of legal. Na me nim ne no person kire. Wa abrako a wa ankasa wo ya mranim ni. A wo che say wo ye lawyer. Na wa hu say ya ma obi bill. Say ya ma no 50 million. Sa 50 million na ya di ama no. Wontumi de no kra de kra esau. Because being to send Ivan Kyei about what media about what time ball or before Friday share even actuation share men's gold in Nipa friend is simple men's gold so no crying there 500 million number one they are 500 million now they compare 500 million to that of 50 million. Now we bet na honum na se o ba be yedede a na no kwasem ye say damage a wuntumi akose no sa 50 million na be de man no krampo no me hunu kra se isa esakra and you see wuntumi ti krom ha say empanifo kan say be say it takes a whole village to raise a child enti wuntumi ti ayi krom ha ensema okeka amanfo edibani ehwe obi antimi anya chese NPP fo antimi anya nyansasem bi anka nche madamfo ade a wuye awie akire no ne ebeto no enye papa or the emotions chese ofiti preko pese or kasa na wa yina adwena asi nchen na wa ahya ase say ensem hunu mfreni masem ensema emfata ensema pani enka he wuntumi nsema okeka ye no okuru masi won ebi wo okra captain wuntumi repeat ensema wuntumi keka ye ebi wo ha wuntumi enye den en repeat na no kwasem ye se he emra de mra wo emra wo ho se ye start say de mra adwuma ebetim de mra adwuma but on the effect displacement of anger so because of de mra den anywhere dia wo hu obesan tumi de offense abufuo awuram wontumi ya that type wontumi ya obi achi a beche no Ghana for dodo na ape say ya chi wontumi because nsema wakeka no krom ha any damage a wakose no enye damage ketua na wonti krom ha sei wahu say obi akwaje besia 10 million say me de kwa akodua abu nipa kroya asna akwaje ayi road contract cocoa road contract say oba beye yehu kwan a waye the same person abawura forest cause a lot of damage ewo honum na ya chi na de obetimi aye say obakwa akwotena farm na waye didi he da bia me kan say we won nursing pregnancy is not difficult too. Nursing pregnancy it's not difficult so wonyem na anyinsen mu emu abofro ne mu ntasu toto aha enya den isa raising up a fool so o titi gimfo dancing bosom nkura nyinsen no because me abede ye won't know NPP for the year no fan fooling say NPP rally you can imagine sika anka bebe hia any the I mean can saying crowd ebe ho but eba ni say no se benya amanfo no bekoy benya amanfo ebi musu ti krom ha ya ma men kan asem wi danfo bi ko gina ehonom bele se oloye frafra ni o se oyeden hwe ebi mu aye be ho say but the whole northern region no ahu ebe twitwi gatam ma men kan sa asem wi Sali pana okojina ha okese wa organize bokofo wa organize hefafo elinti no se ba ne se kind dia
forget
no
forget
fra hene tiemi afra no twena so se fra hene etiemi
wa be patch o
ɛne na kyɛ ɔpa no nyinaa no bantwena so sɛ ɔte akra ha baabi a yɛwɔ biara yɛwɔ dagate hene yɛwɔ mo hene yɛwɔ mosi hene yɛwɔ hwane frafra hene wɔ hɔ ɔmfrɛ no na asotwe a ɛfata no ɔmfa ma no hwɛ NPP ba yɛ northern region hɔ no kɔhwɛ the whole northern region no ɛnyɛ ayi baumia no kɔtena ɔfrɛnsɛn radio so kɔkɛɛ sɛ the biggest project abayɛ no northern region ɛyɛ dam na abɛyɛ no hɔ no meanwhile 11 million afa on sato yahu dam yahu hwe wɔ hɔ northern region da no ho yɛ no hɔ no free upper west upper east northern da no course wɔ hɔ ne obi mu mababa ne chairman na out of his chairmanship no ɔno atimi awe ne contracts ahodoɔ atimi ayɛdɛn akɔgyegye sika enu kwan sɛ ɔgye babi a ɛsɛ nka di sika kɔ ma ahiafoɔ kora damfo ya gyegye agu no bɔtɔm wa metua ba school fees wa anya hwe amount ɛdɛ baakye na wa ba bɛgyina hɔ ɛka sɛ wa organize bɔkofoɔ ne hefafoɔ sɛ wo de ba bɛyi wo ntumi na wo ntumi ti krom ha sika ɔgye no normal bi wo hwɛ nipa no kora ne ho ne dress ya na odi gyina hɔ no ma wo ti sɛ bɛ 2 cities coin bi ni da ne bɔtɔm a ɛnwan no ɛnso ogyina sɛ ɔba bɛyi wo ntumi wo ti sɛ de na ɔyɛ no hɔ no kwa na ɔnte aseɛ
2 cities
ase bɛ 2 cities coin bi ni da ne bɔtɔm a ɛnwan no
ɛna ɔsɛ ɔde ba bɛyi
ɔba bɛyi wo ntumi Captain Asemo
I don't say 50 million
yɛ 50 hɛ nano no wahu won say captain we dia wa ma menya tribalism kakra won say me yedagati ni last me catch you me yedagati ni enti mpampi no sometimes we say na say last me catch you say me yedagati ni na media da
what to kasa no
metepa metisen kasa bia
ka fadagati kasa na me so tia
me fanka mbo yeko very yela na hwe wa ma me kadagati kra
ka me se kadagati na me ko kadagati na me ko mama wuza
me free nandom enti ma menchia nandom impole ni neza poli nandom na ano nkaka okay so inyi nandom buo na yi nyeke mbo empoli anandom bi liza poli nandom na me mbo yeko afrafaldim abe ya beyin te master ne be ne boli apoble na chente alabe a yala ala na ya ne fa iwa ani fa iwa apoble na chente alabe a ese ne bolo ebone na se ne de ino wa ne de ino ala na ya awuntu na chente da ulibi ne o contract una da sa contract na obekọ home ne ona ba ko ho nra bonso ho chenti alabe ayeka ho deni niwe yini boko deni niwe yini bolga se ho ahwa i wuntumi bonso ha se ho yale a wuntumi na da olibi ko ho na be oko ho na amina wuntumi de ko pampa na ho na chena yira ho na chen ho bia wa te school fees san wuntumi na ya be ana na ya baumia dana del bi wa ko ho
wow
baumia dana del bi wa ko ho be the NPP ni buolu deli bi wako ho so captain makanwi matubafo ma niya sabadi yan
sabu no mina unu ina be kramai
frafrafo ani we kramai frafrafo ani unim no I just don't want to go hard on them when say ya be masters what you see enti ya frebe sebe ya nkoa eni ntino ehaye kwan ho enti
me da say waka pesa o
ma catch on several occasions the first time I catch on cry Adum FM
sure
wow na me won say me din cry down say the gati din me ma na ntafudi ni da be so me kura me ntu abofudi me nkwan nu abofudi
sa what delicious there
sanfa
wow
me di chuvie sanfa lucious be chuvie na say ba yefin chuvie no so ntafudi
okay Timinu mi ne ntafo simple wow
ade a shock you e ma no shock you say obi anim
okay
obi anim say
me wuntumi ye okuru ni
wuntumi ate se be lo frafra ni so frafra ni dia na che so e makoa
wuntumi benya ho e dey kasa
enti captain de danfunu ko gina ho a oyeye no eye mfre ni masem na oyeye no wanye ni yi wanya futu because wuntumi sika waji no krom ha no wo omma obi wuntumi contracts a oje no wan fro se be ye bi wuntumi call masok ema masok for tour of friend saying land cruisers edema no wo wa ma obi na adenti a ubegina ho nom se den ye de ama wo se den ye na wa ba begina ho ebe keka nsem a enu kwanse oka wahu captain hwe okọ north ho nom a development bi anhye dan ko sa wo what you say enti mpempi no eya ne me meka ye say se o fight ade na ye mpuntuo ebe baba bi a wo ye den owo na mpuntuo no ba wo obe den obe enjoy bi na nya individual na ono no waye bone a ye pe no achi no na office wuntumi nko a ene me ka cho say there is no virgin in the maternity ward san krofo na beko ho no nyina no be nyina no be case da ho a offense saying be chibe nkrofo beko ho no nyina wo de afa be nyina meti say nipa o ma o guarantee wuntumi $10 million no ono so ko ho bi nipa na ono wo your friend is saying Exim Bank ono guarantee no $10 million no time na beko ya beko tena fam no no so to hobi enti Onua no he is consciously aware say wuntumi de ka wuntumi NPI yet ya ka cho say ye masse apako na wo no this kind man na wantimi anje during your time no beko announce wakobi nipa bonefo same way I say wunim ho hwe I say wunim ye ko wahu wunim ye ko enkra wo krom ha say books ankra besu akra na be nya bi emfansua de e wo ho time who introduce new curriculum wa abreko ana textbook ba akokra ho ntimi introduce na say sika wo ho no ma no say wo ho nsa ebubo sika mu rough how I didn't hear say ho yesa enti ne ya me no wo kasa anu on agora nkra fe ne e ba be start na wo kasa yi abayi no be yi no wo hu minim so akoda ho no ba bubu ni nkotodwemu na wo ntimi ngira ne nan so na MPP for no on bibi habe nipa wo hwe nanim a utimi hu say onu ankasa no or medical condition no na ne ka ho ba kwa fum ne ka ho kra onya ahome kra no wa home the same person na ho twitwa age no the same person be yi no once na ko fum ka no ho like nipa ekobe ne wo ho obi a oyare enti wuntumi de me mra no se beti ma mra no den adwuma MPP for na me ka say before the inaugural ceremony no me ka me tuba for say se be ko inauguration na nka ba ben fa bus na ben ko nsawo na be ko na ben ko chibe hungum because after inauguration no ye edition go ye ba be reset Ghana reset no what 10 pesos craft on satum ye beje said 10 pesos craft on satwa President Mama aka said 10 pesos craft on satwa ye beje entie nei no ema obi enya na dwen say wa afri aban mu na mini be fri aban mu no so say be nyina badan ayarefo osedenu wochi obi a obeyare obi anya obechi bi obeyare hwe cases a aba MPP cases aba ni nyina ba ya chibe ni nyina no obi ayarefam akunfia mi odie ayi afran say wuntumi ayi ba kun so ne onso wakoka so oje ya say onu no pezum ayi ayi danfia no obo besia bebrebe ayi ofuriata enti obi a na ebe chimi bia na de olo yare obi a ebe chimi bia oyare na se onim se oyare ahwe da bia metu amanfofo meka sa se we say se uye nipa wahu ye de ye anya hwe kura no obeye bone ba ko mienu bi afam that is fine but se utena asia ye aniamo ho nsem ese niema ebeduru ba bi no hu ohun beye mobo near MPP for a year in Nan, on San never why mobile. And never why mobile, so for be our chief Kumasi before the election, or call Bunu region, or Gada as for the National Cathedral, and who bomb. Your friends and Kusi Boatier. Or call Bunu region, or call Bunu region, no call Gada as for no person influence by 7 to Abama MPP. Oh, we are no Chesica. Oh, free one no call Bunu East. No San Gada as for Honum. No Sanchez come up and no influence by 7 to Abama MPP. No call Bunu region. Sa offer no Kokumasi. They are not all no. And Tinabel say, Bonia Bedin, we let him the Sika. Edia retain the power. Now, Ghana for Yenjimi, sir. Oh, yeah, now in Quasem, we are behind the enemy show. In the end, no be coffee. A business and no coffee, no be fear now upon one. Don't one bedem. Captain, me MPP for, don't one the bedem, Banka Sabayaway, won't to one other call and your bayano, Nabana Nabesumbeho. It's not like say, won't to Minchia. Naba be Subedachi, because they said that you diano, the bedem.
All right. The producer sent him a letter. It was written on the 14th of May 2025 about Kenoforiata, our Mayo Clinic, our US. Sir Oyare. The Yare no, you're diagnosed with prostate cancer. Now, a surgical intervention has been deemed necessary after the testing and MRI and biopsy procedures in March 2025. As indicated in my February letter, just a letter of Troy, this surgical procedure has been scheduled for June 13th with Dr. Paras Shah of the Department of Urology. And for that matter, no. On person watching Tintin and says, "We kurana." Uncle Ken. June 13th for ton on beye sa procedure no. Na ye no surgery ni June 13th for the na say here time or the better apple. Obi a surgery there. Innocent na. What's our field? No na bit to be actually.
Captain, I think some bufu Oklahoma, but Obending. So when Yarea, we sympathize with him because Yarea there, Obia predisposed to, and Obi Yarea at any point in time. All that you can say is you wish that particular person well in the oil. But you see, the reality of this whole issue is nobody is disputing the fact that Kenofurata Yare. Because Abraham Noye finance minister when you born a nima me catch our platforms when you born a newsworthy me say oyare na onam at the time I even know a finance minister. So at the time I now taking those decisions as to whether or not he was on the right frame of mind. And I say because some of the decisions now no taking sometimes you wonder whether the guy was even thinking right or not. So oyare there no oyare that anye no bayare. So that one we understand. But you see, facing prosecution, we are talking about a person, either say Owa hoden so obetimi atena be bisa na no asem because nobody and I can say arrest Kenoforiata you say why niam ba ko na mienu na be you no so Kenoforiata is not to be a bedridden obi odam paso a ontimi nya hwe anasa oya immobilized like oda ho ye na hwe enye and na wa lose ne sanity a obisa na sem ontimi nya no and it's not as if that he cannot travel. Because Ghana for more UK last week, Omuhunu were London. And I think that the video and the pictures, what will be? So, on your be own to mean to coin. So, the impression they are trying to create is Oyare, and there will be a name that Onyam Koya Krano Oyare, for that one we understand. But the fact is, every single criminal activity via a course under Kufuado government via no Kenoforiata is involved. Every single criminal business via. So, he's the masterpiece of this whole corruption puzzle I try to unlock as a country. So I a person of interest. And he said, this whole thing, Satyamaka said, the office of the special prosecutor, we need to decommission that particular office. And And since the day almost set it abesi na makacho akoko kra muntimi fa akoko to akoko ni for ekroma a waste of resources. For me, see a person fight corruption, we have state institutions that our order say a resource more like the AG Yoko and as a former. We can easily deal with this. This Kisieja been press conferences of emotional sometimes Owusu so you don't even know what he's doing. For me, the office of the special prosecutor must be decommissioned. Now you focus on some of these things. You see, the approach now we're adopting, and no one making for that because in the first place, gentleman ya accusing no or set a time. I'm not being a ya just to man. In the course of the surgery, now say you're diagnosing no captain. It didn't happen at the expiry date of 2nd June or the Mayano, but Otana ma. Your friend say, "Emerana would your man aswa we aka 3 days, and order letter bro." Say your friend is saying, and they are scheduled for another surgery. And all this thing I cost diagnosis in the buy. He could have communicated to the office of the special prosecutor. Now you will say, "Oh, every change arrangement and I change it," and they say in the and he's gotten to a point that he's telling us, Zoom meeting. And I'm telling you, Metana Hakacho said the gentleman is not willing to come because only Oba de Besi. Because Oba said special prosecutor for any we are Yoko for Bafano. Yoko for Fana, national security for Bafano.
National security we are NIB Bafano.
Because every single criminal activity be open Obenya Kwanya Kono, Nanya the Keto, and wound to me, I Atiwaka crowd much wound to me. No, who said Mekwa Masubayase, and it's the reason why he's playing all this game. Because Yare or Yare, but the fact is that Onya immobilizer own to me move around. And for me, that is the sad aspect of this whole thing. And these are the people, young people in this country. It's me sort of boss was he defending these people. Now no MPP for some much wound to me no, or mom for crime papa. So maybe say and the national security for Onkoto Kente, your friends say, among Koto Kete. Nti omo kofa na ye boy because and then I be say ye be respect to answer na ya chill because who say nyansa be anim because arrest warrant was issued. So what again do you need? Say ya mfa kwan papa so na ya arrest no enti ye be bo wuntumi ama na ye nko han ketani mpintini ne ye nsamfa nko ne fie na who say yes national security for ba be fa na say. You see, these are people of my minor men ye jira ba be jira and then they are bold enough to tell us say ono ye ready. Say obebo mind because until upon say Ghana for you ready a ye ne Zoom way Zoom na man for free say e tra keke captain say Ghana aban pese on kenforata ye Zoom we need to notify the US authorities. You cannot do it because this is a criminal proceedings and the answer now by yes no that letters rogatory must be written to the AG's department in America to seek authorization. Now, amunso who say a case na ekoso no enye political witch hunting na mom a clear case of corruption asa ansa na wanya ho akwanya ene na ye that particular conference call no enti enye easy sa kekese wo kan ya na ye the camera kwesi nani because issue no in the future no might proceed to court. One in the corner catch and say and some no kan no he was under duress and as for that particular evidence now what gathered from him no cannot stand the test of your friend saying prove evidential value now or pay at court no end to me yet. So this whole process now all come and for who is samples as be Zoom no it's not just Zoom. We have to officially write to the AG's department in America just to notify them say because a criminal proceedings a quite civil are fine because there are people who we can easily engage on Zoom then as because and now say a criminal proceedings now our consequences in the future about involving evacuation and as for we need to do all these things and he knows. So it's just a matter of just dragging the process and he also knows very well that your friend saying mutual legal treaties are America and other countries or Ghana but your cooperation and for you to evacuate Kenofurata never Kroma say no and ya the keto was a man for say Interpol red alert as well. You think it's easy? It's not easy when the gentleman is not ready to come because he is playing I am sick card on humanitarian grounds. Obia or say oyare only ready to move no Interpol no FBI can force him out of the jurisdiction. To do that it will have to be decided by a court in the United States of America by providing all the documents na court ashema who say and some now can based on the documents I examine and as a forum and your mom to say oh young no if he's not willing to come and easy
that should tell you say adwobone eno mode ye nnwuma okroma say wagugu amanfo banka say businesses abon kwase abosen ama say be oman no da kam ene krono akese ya akoso akenofurata involve no ene he is bold enough to look us in the face say Ghana for I am not willing to answer to you because they me pay manya wie and maybe away he can decide never to come to this country because they've been able to move monies outside this country so maybe owo no or he's okay, you understand? That tells you the kind of politics that we do in this country. And abra na me no near TV so another beer we are talking about Kenofurata no. Na nyesa time na no be time no. And as a beer aban na no be time no. Omusu banya they have no respect for the people of this country. Only mboni a wedding no. O meten ha kwa na wo bisa na sem. And na wanya kokoduro to say Zoom no ope. Na krono no nkwase abosia na obo no Zoom. Cathedral now or time Yesika Momudi to Amana no Zoom no ye no Yesika Koye. You see, these are people who are not credible. They are very dishonest characters. And Akufo-Addo and Akufo-Addo and Akufo-Addo because Captain the minimum say you kasa why are they not when you're born here. All that you have to do is say, oh, I'm available on this date. Me bad more babeka. Simple as that. And people know so why are no. Ebia they want to me for me. When you demonstrate, say indeed. And you are willing to cooperate. Oh, and the surgery come once me as to whether the surgery will be done, either there will be complications or not, you don't know. Time of recovery in as a forum, and as a surgery, Ninya Bum cried and someone say because you can't set a basic you cannot evacuate or extradite him by force over the neighbor until say Onua you willing to come. And from the Kenofurata ye, maybe our video so catch us say, and now there's a branch and say. He's not willing to come. And I know we are here. Mark it somewhere. We may sit here next year, sitting here and be talking about Kenofurata not being in Ghana. Because on your ready so baba. Because on him the fate that awaits him. And on him say he can never buy himself out of the cases now air costural. So the only way out, and I said, we play the kind of games now. For me, I think that we can proceed. Captain, the last time I catch you, the Nuremberg trial, Abrana. Even those who died were tried in absentia because the principles of natural justice indicate that the accused must be heard. This is a guy who is waving all these opportunities in us for them. So I think if it is possible to take a statement from him, we should proceed and go to court and if possible convict him. Conviction is not only about within the jail. The mere fact that the person has been convicted is enough because whenever he steps into this country, he becomes a subject of a prison inmate. Now say, oh man, so then that's what you ufnuba. You bet me see prison get to and I think that Ghanaians will be satisfied because Bonia Kenofurata Edi under Akufo-Addo no, he cannot go scot free. And every single criminal case be a kosubiano or kahubi. And the very people in the MPP are now more Asiedu Nketia or Kenofurata no and then that hono omra mayina no kwa no ato ade a sabi just here for so no maneba kroma and for me case no must be transferred from the office of the special prosecutor. Now say Yoko no be deal maybe they should find a way out, maybe cooperating with the American authorities if there is a way be a ometimi afa so de na ba na no na make us obi say the best way betimi da ba na say omon kidnap no mo financial sack him no mo because if he decide to play I am sick card na captain on humanitarian grounds, it's very difficult to deal with it. Not special prosecutor and transfer a case in my Yoko. Now anyway we but for me, I think that this whole thing is impossible. Dragging Kenofurata to come to this country when he's not willing to come, no, it's not possible. See me force on the number based on cars in our say play. I am sick, you know. It's all the kind of ordeal you womb. And going forward, no, say the to me money power. It's not just about the NDC MPP. We need to look for minds are accountable, they are very honest and ready to serve this country with dignity. Their allegiance should be to the people of this country, to the constitution and to the flag of this country. Not people who are working at the behest of certain porn masters. Everything that they do is to satisfy the parochial interest of themselves and these masters because even he was not even serving the interest of the MPP as a political party. It is the reason why at some point in time his own people were calling for his head. Now at some point in time then when I'll be a chief defender. Captain, now research. Do you know sir Sika echo wound to me as an individual as such as Sika echo Ashanti region in terms of development, because I'm trying to find out if there is a single development in Ashanti region under 8 years Akufo-Addo a costo anywhere around $50 million. If there is a single project in a whole of the Ashanti region, the value through $50 million, wouldn't to me a pocketed more than that. So I chose one person, now are you richer than the entire Ashanti region? I am the base of the party. Now what's in a bar seems that me baba say you side depend when indeed, even though you move for, but the evidence are quite clear. You understand? So I think the Ghana for my ninte. Now you move beyond this emotional partisan activism over the years in the NDC because people do all this silly nasty stuff because of Omunim said to the idea. Among for better TV soon radio so defended because you know one political party. Fire again but if we begin to approach issues dispassionately, devoid of emotions, devoid of partisan allegiances and affiliations, that kind of connections. Now we are looking at issues from a very nationalistic point of view. Say Ghana for if we're able to strike the balance between red and black, now you say this is evil, this is good. These people, their motivation to do some of the things that they do, Captain, it will not be there. But as long as we sit on TV and fight over issues, we try to bury the truth and hide behind partisan cars. These people will continue to have energy to do some of these things because in a country, serious, these people, everybody across the political divide would expect second of will come to this country for us to face justice. But the question is, why is he not willing to come? And Neamana he's even ridiculing the people of this country, and his people are here just playing the same card as if Sebi. They are trying to take things away from. But me say John Mahama be the president 4 years. After 4 years, he will be no more president. Another person will come. Ghana is the constant figure in this whole narrative. You understand? So allegiance should be to this republic. But people come in the name of political party and they take silly decisions at the end of the day, endanger the prospect of this country. Look at things that Kenuforiata did. For instance, Cathedral na ye kan wase me. Akufo-Addo did in Sako bomb mine sika mo for $50 million. Or also for 50 million Ghana cedis. And yes, contract ahuru ase binyansa nim. Na Nipa hospitals and there is no single hospital betimi do mo say ye shall see hospital ye wie agenda 111 who so on share dan may have worked at the hospital captain ye can hospital nye dan is ho dan is just 40% of it stocking it that is the hospital na dan ye hospital a dan is not hospital stocking it with state of the art equipment and a money hospital and this sika na ye waste ye over the years Yentimi see hospital and I can afford to me Ghana for him so or not as a finance minister for 8 good years the care ne surgery na all panel there is no hospital in Ghana betimi dia mano enti ono no or come Mayo Clinic which is one of the biggest hospital in America when yesika to the stand say obetimi na wa woti kejeti a woton mamone na woton ko obi no wo yare a can you even come to Kolebu can you see hospital esiafari 80 years, they allowed the hospital to destroy and dissipate it to a point and equipment say or not to make a plane ticket aqua hen ho yare. Make sure say one as an individual so what yare and then can you do the same thing? That captain, that is the question that we should be asking ourselves. Can you go to even Accra as Kike? But your Jai hospital nobody is even talking about it. And for me that is the shame. So Ghana for to say now you move beyond this emotional politics. Now you make sure say the adwin who say politics me party that is good. But the constant factor in this whole equation is Ghana. And everything that we do must be in the interest of these people. I'm sure say people who come to serve will serve us in dignity. They will know say they are serving the people. It is not just about minimum sana. And for that reason, look at a lot of the fake certificates that are coming into the system. I think that even government say the certificate about Kuroma. Captain, I'm telling you, about 60% are fake. I'm telling you this from a very reliable source. Ghana for about 60% of the certificate they present in this country are fake. I'm asking government to set up a desk. I verify every single certificate coming from outside. And we need to be very sincere. Now you're making sure say we are serving this country with dignity. Because say my boy party, no of an president. Can for because even in his own party he was scared. NPP for Nankasa no Muslim don't mean Kanasem.
taking all the decisions and amraba be you are no be boy investigating some or can't just say you zoom man. And that is here we are today, and we are not making any progress. This conversation will be coming up and there will be no progress. So for me, I think government aggression on corruption, we need to activate it and make sure every single means be a processes, and even if it will not be possible, let us start it. The extradition, whatever we need to do just for Ghana to know, we try our best. But the gentleman is not willing to come. But the special prosecutor, the honor say emotional press conference now, so soon so serious or we are sick and tired because officers are not there. Press conference say binyansa bi anim unhu so match akoko unhu so match abebe sa na akwakosi. Ghana for are really serious, and I'm asking them say prosecuting these people no a sacred responsibility Ghana for. Na no na me catch up my dollar medru 1 cedi. If he does not hold these people accountable, Ghanaians will never forgive him. Because in the last 8 years, we saw the atrocities, the disrespect, the vulgar impunity with which these people operated. Ghana for Kenyans, they did all that they could because they had that particular power. We need to send a message. Say, there are breaks. Even in America, a president is very powerful. There are certain things you cannot do. Trump attempted to extradite certain individual courts was stopping and a whole lot of way. And that break and the democracy. But Africa now yet it looks as if we have power bit my BBR. That is why you are consistently losing trust in democracy. What was that countries which are going cool? Now yet president so more who need people are losing trust in democracy. We need to make sure that we build confidence once again, and some of these things so the MPP will continue to make noise. There are people on the radar in the coming days. They'll be coming up. I think that it's not just B say Yednako Yoko say your friend Chamawun to be a Saturday to Oko court. That is your friend say is it on the 9th of this month to way. I think that is what you should be. It's not like say a Chinipana Kona and one see Yantefi. Ghanaians are following keenly because a time will come, Ghanaians will begin to ask all these questions. Many Ghanaians thought the NDC and MPP the same thing. Oba, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. This is a time for John Mahama to make a striking difference and no, the NDC and the MPP are not the same. And for that matter, he's ready to deal with these people. And for me, that is what I'm for. It is not about any individual, it is about the greater good of this country. Now, you send a message loud, clear, say, Ghana, and you're here from Kwaneko prison. Now, among for Motina offices, politically influential people now, we know Kenya, several Mudidi, Sabian Semuno, they too can go to jail.
Right. Senior, I'm out 2 minutes for Kakasos on the encore.
Mate, maybe last, Mecano Hatchley, GB said, Oshe, Ankane, the previous years, no MPP4, then your platform be a Nasa Betinaso, Nasa, on a bed, Casa. Betimi ka say NDC for a corrupt. Betimi ka say we NDC ni a kire MPP ni a NDC baso. Betimi che no etu. Na na be refi say Prof Nose baso no. Ono no yes o, on do ya asumdwe hene. Enti ye oniema bi wo ho adede ne nasefo na wo mpe. Ene ne man krofo bi na ba wiewia sika e wo kurom ha si benya beti edidi mu. And no free on the President Mama so by. On so by no yourself, I say father for all, father for all. That father for all attitude no. And so man crophobia and senka or chiben want to me anya den and chibe. Entino be facade say, oh, bear no mum, ne banya den banshada anya the bon. And sometimes there was a perception we say, oh, but your chrono dear benim chrono bo betim the pen bo chrono wuntim yeden wuntim enchibe. And then Ababe clear. So now Tim depend Bokrono, Abra Intimuncho, and now Untimfa pen and Bokrono. A buying assistant. So OSP, I issue ya and Raya home press conference. Meno, Sanya Ivan Kyei say, I'm sure I be quite to say the old narrative na. You ever be press conference, no? You better discuss various platforms, so. Na assembly akwakoda because this is somebody what wants afreno say omra no akache o say oyare into ntumba somewhere January num honum in February num o kire say oh wo yade no wo hwa obekọ akoye operation somewhere in March ni mu nyina no wa meka hwe enti time bia no wo te hwa wo twen say OSP ebe dey ebe to ne nsafro na wa use wo underlying medical condition e dey make excuse say wo kwa akoye surgery ana say onti apontimu ntim yede untimu emma in any case say obi yare a kwan ne kire say nipa no oyare wo na nkasa na former finance minister no onye doctor OSP so onye doctor enti yem saa nipa mienu bia no entimu enkire the condition na wom no enti say no kre say oyare na say bia o yede o hwe wo ho yade a eye doctor ene yede hwe adenti a o ma doctor no ema offense medical report na on analyze the issue no ema yehu say pe AOBNC nti no bia obeba be operation eda sei na no crampo no obetimi a kire say because of that condition nti no utu kwan a enye yie what you say but when na chi no o meka he time bia no akwakwa te say o de Ghana for any OSP no adwen ediago o twen say ye baba be den ye be frew ye frewa na wanya bibi aiden aka wom see this is somebody can offer at one nitim edin say uhu ni sa no he de odi amanfo akomu okrom ha nne onu nitim ai ne da o che ho a o ka say o hia zoom ayi no ah he bank say ogugu nu no
nipa ewuo mu no
nipa ba wu
o de enfensi ayempo yempo no
the haircut buy amanfo collapse okrom ha wu ya amanfo have tension everybody ya be wu you know the same person
Captain say o declare no wanted there babi abehia de bia dead babi agana ni abehia de bia che no
otumi so no na wo de
babi abachi de bia
wo de na ba
che no 5 CDs
awena asena fe yenda ne ye homra ye 55 twato no enso so ye besisia.
Captain, let me assure the MPP say Memete Henry me party deputy general secretary na President Mahama ama me appointment na me de krono ena beda ma adwimu say oman no na me bo no krono a ekina ye chime na wo NDC ni wo kogina sa police station na so wagime to wo a wo kogina ayi anui you are right to call them say Sebiu. It was an exercise in futility. The most disappointing one is members of parliament. Obi a ya to abama ye enkane ye kase obi a MP a no buo wo ye nipa no hu odu hwe we mu amkotena yoko enemy obstructing law enforcement. These are the kind of people in US na ya chi wo bo ananse ya de kwan bi enso ade emra kwan bi so di oma fa ni aka say abrofo akunipa because we are MP na law enforcers are working. You have forgotten what knowledge and common sense dictates and expect you to do. Now your only solution is about to obstruct justice, obstruct law enforcement. It's a bigger crime than the alleged crime. For which reason I want to me a share a BNI hodom. So for me, MPP for the what is important is Captain Ndayeti. The mandate said NDC should fight corruption is a mandate that cannot be killed by anyone. There are a lot of low-hanging fruits in government. Now we kukudru a yedi wies car saa kukudru no na ode beko police station. And when we get there, nobody should say that because NDC for power and MPP for abadane headmasters to omo de omo pe easy life yemfa emra foforo yenchechire emra foforo because they are MPP people. Yes, and no. That mandate is still active. So Ghana for who say Omo mpesi omo chichi nkrofo bi ma omo ameka so ye na eto aba o na Asiedu no yeah, you be jai. But until then, Captain, as you are teaching there, I feel near Beshas you. Obi bia wedi boni okrumha will be arrested. Nothing will stop it. Absolutely no noise from anybody, no obstruction from anybody, and let the NPP people think that more boni amodi are more opposition. Your path is to be threatening the ones in government. Sir, when you come to power, you will deal with us. You won't do nothing. Now, will you be alive at the time? You are thieves and you have stolen, and there's evidence that you have stolen, and you have been taken on. Your solution is to be threatening your opponents and saying, say, overpower. Were you not in power for 8 years? And then, look, people are going to be taken on, and 1 cedi tax. Ghanaians are complaining because there's clear evidence. 8 years ago, people of Ghana have paid. Omutria tax, tax. Omutria tax, and I want to me loan 10 million. No more D, free of charge because you are a regional chairman of NPP. Na yenyao maunko na Ghana fo onko bre o mokola no muntuaka ensi nensi echina obi bia no ho atochima se odi obetra aban mu wodi bone no ye bechu omoba power omunku ye nyina. But until then Ghana fo nso behu se aban bi ba ya omode mra ede ye adwuma no de ebekoso ena ayete he na me bisa emo bag bo Captain 6 months ago, now a bag here 800 or 900 Ghana cedis, and between 300 and 250 Ghana cedis. 250 Ghana cedis. And Jerry can kufu the and can near ton 500 to 600 Ghana cedis, and then above from 300 Ghana cedis. Ose abaya teso nyere. MPP for bomb paye ko nrusu kompa ebo so say enka bibi nsi nanka Ghana for ho nsanche wo na omumufu. They should be angry with the government. These are the kind of people who want us to be listening to them. MPP is praying for equalization, but unfortunately nyansa na adwen sonko one butaya one better abayimu was pure to steal from the people of Ghana, and they did so. Now you are being called to account. You will not. Intermediate, Captain. I don't know. I think, sir, I don't could be no abe. I feel a better change of also for you say now, sir, National Cathedral, deal or cost rubber form, they will answer for it. Jesus Christ didn't teach anybody to become, a man of God and at the same time a politician. Could see ways have a prophet. December 7th, and Ajua Yeko election, he was keenly involved in the scheme from Baumia's house to reach 2024 election. This one, you call him a prophet. National Cathedral, and when you do this, they say, oh, it's MPP, or your MPP, Ninti, and NDC4 are chasing them. All these aircraft now, ballot papers, this kind of. He was keenly involved. They were all involved in this matter. So what are they talking about? You have lived a kind of life, and you must be responsible to that life. What business has a pastor, a prophet got to do with having 2 names? Say, me, Metihai, now Captain Million Penny, won't you call me a thief? So Mustafa, they should call him a thief. Say, Pastor, Yankas or Konkro. I mean, what kind of double standard is that? Scholarship Secretary, and Raul Nyakuma Betra has seen. Captain Ukon Kurasia Obi, a brilliant, no Mameton Bidie, Mameton Wache, on to mean Trace Kam and Unqua Bridge. A buying at the Scholarship Secretary, say, Yam Fam one crop for no Monco school, near Sawamushabra. Would the old to be Fadin? They call Obi call UK, no diska, no edi, nani pardon UK in the name of scholarship. Is it not criminal? When the laws are dealing with you, you say NDC. Ena yetiha. Cocoa board, Captain. Cocoa board CEO in the last 8 years was not an ordinary. Cocoa board CEOs now, President Akufo-Addo Omuye Ejumano. They were not coming from Volta region. Omunye Mfantifo, Omuye Akanfo. Sameboa Kasabeboa. And you want to cocoa board. Woman name the benefit of cocoa to Ashantis. Don't they know? President Akufo-Addo no nyaka any. Doesn't he know the benefit of cocoa to the Ashanti people where they get votes from? And when you are interrogating these facts, look at the things that are coming out of cocoa board. Bonia womedi no. And all those things, apenyo markets munyina ka hubi. Hey. Of course. Apenyo markets munyina ka hubi. When you are interrogating the issue, they say, oh, I NDC for that omotia by Muntino. They are witch hunting. Witch hunting what? A politician who is a businessman. And you do things right, you inflate invoices, and you don't expect the law to interrogate what you have done. Yet Tikrobu has saying, and Wamutra say, for us to win election, young Conquer has a Volta region for before the Omuache, Wamu sessionist group honum. Okaya, Western Togoland. No Wamu create an artificial group bia. You best no more common the flags that Kwakwacheso. No more the tipper tracks as not here. Now, you deploy soldier for Aqua intimidating Crawford. Wamu ye yam ye koche wamu ebimu bimbila. Eko du yendi. Wow. Afe na na du free abaimua. All those things are over. Adentia. You do all of these things and you expect that the law should not deal with you. How can you sit in a country where you decide, say, very evil-minded, say, ebimu dia yanka say, omuso ompe Western Togoland, the emfa soldier for nkogu aposo. Is that how to govern a country? And when you say it, instead of the MPP sitting down and reflecting over their wrongs and taking responsibility for same and engaging, the other things that say yechi will be a ye match MPs are more parliament no monko yoko ne transform. We are a very lenient government, Captain. And you see, when we won election, there were two things beckoning this country: cleansing and revenge. Cleansing and revenge were the two common things every single Ghanaian was yearning for. It takes a wise leader like President John Dramani Mahama to navigate the ship. They call us the Hawks. Apenyo Markins call us the Hawks. Don't allow the Hawks to run the government. President Mahama has actually assembled the mild ones. If the Hawks were in charge, MPP for no be komuno. They will attest to what wrong they have committed. You call us the Hawks because we are NDC people. Don't allow the Hawks. President Mahama decided that let the laws take its own natural course. That is the only reason why Amuakwata munyina yanyanche womo. Amuakwata so meche no. Yanche say. Amuakwata. Ope uncle heaven no mra from. The time drew, he will be arrested. Hey, obi a wotimi sorry. No oka say 11 ma abolish road tolls one parliament. Do not causing financial loss. Why are they causing financial loss by? President Akufo-Addo as Attorney General. The vehicles coming from Togo, Burkina Faso, all of these are fire coin. What is more criminal than doing that?
All right. I think so Ghana politics now we a young person who follow. I think you become very so much disappointed in Amamfoa entrust the political power into their hands. In our thinking, we think that these are intelligent people. Yeah, the two me assurance as a monk of mind that but sometimes the way they operate, the way they act, the poverty of intellect, in the way they sometimes the poverty of reason, and I is so astonishing. What one wabomabuza on my way, a one kasa man, but in the future. And for me, that is the problem because so this whole thing, I cost the day. I agree with Listowel on the part of government. Say all of a sudden, introduce you way no consultation, nobody like my catch as a governance and yabosom. And a few people be question them could take a decision then over 12 to Nepal. And yabosom. And I said, by year, no more than I do 12 o'clock. I dare you about that, but governance, no, a broader stakeholder discussion engagement ever coso. And we understand no, the bar you cannot control that discussion and as a form. But the question is, why are we here? And sir, Levia can't answer me. So we take discussions because you see, say Nepal don't know more can't don't even understand it. But my who some run TV or mobile keti YouTube almost say D levy, yeah the E levy, I don't know any new levy. There hasn't been any introduction of a new levy under the ESLA. There were several components, I think 6 or 10. Yawa sa energy sector debt recovery way no and on there is 0.95 and for petrol and where 0.9 and ya increase 1 cedi abaka ho and echo 1.95 1.35 so no omunya introduce new levy bia but unza mramuno if you want to amend o person wo CCN you need to amend the entire thing and it's in a parliament omko amend there so obi anya introduce new levy bia obabia a existing one no na sika no akosoro ebia ba beka ho and for me it makes sense in a sense na amount for top petrol 17 cedis oh Chroma say and that 17 cities now drop here babedru 12 cities 13 cities and in the wisdom of government say na motor 17 na I drop it down wa babedru 12 at least say slash 1 city woman within this period na idea kushi this money ne be my some kind of lean way be am a government at the size can na baby and that is making sense because over the years so we had the ESLA since its introduction. I've go for buy within 2017 to 20. I buy the cover size Canada bar. And this whole thing levy I buy is there just to cover the shortfall, not even to pay the energy sector debt. Because basa ebema existing sikana ya jijeda da no. Ekwanya bom na that money can go and pay the debt. But this one no, I buy me kwa cover sikabi 1.5 and 1.4. E dia kwa koto fuel no. This money is going to pay for the crew we na omo kan wasem no. Sabi that relief ebeba. So for me, it makes sense. And you see, that makes sense in the first place. Sanka petrol ni jina baby e jina. I will never come and sit here and say I buy M for 1 cedi into so. Because already hardship no Ghana for so that. But here is the case. Price now drop it almost for and Rabbi who documents me from Energy Commission. Almost a fair price. Per what is happening because according to the global stage, per barrel now $100 and now drop it to $64 crude per barrel. And fortunately for Ghana, no see the news was saying I gain I'm away no. So everything being equal, economics when I come and everything has never been equal. So that yes. So fair price. I say Ghana yet 8 cedis per your friend saying later. Because all things being equal, and which means that the possibility of petrol no air drop it further no air more. And yes, and the 1 cedi never be same no Ghanaians will not feel because of the measures near my akoso. But for other time petrol no turn 17 cedis. Ghana for ATM. So how do you add your friends 1 cedi to it? You can't. You understand? Yeah. But when the price I drop it because the whole essence of the year you say Ghana for be finding relief. And the relief number, Okoto petrol 3 cedis, 4 cedis at tier free. So, and government say, major 1 cedi at so. Na media have service a debt tonight down. And yet to chroma, a buying society, yena, my better TV so can doom so, nina because we need to go and buy crude. Have on a sika free bar. So, if this measure are relieve Ghana for a year, you move 1 cedi. And then people on social media talking about say, and I buying the D levy about. Now ye levy for the D levy and issues not among for a canon. People don't even understand it. So I'm ranting on Mugu YouTube or more you've heard saying podcast and so sometimes you see ubetimi entertainment, ubetimi comedy. Innocent. But when it comes to politics, it's a very complex way. You need to understand it.
You are too bigger to be discussing miscreants.
No, but media is we are trying to sell information out there. Media is try, read, understand. So when you have that information, now what I say, but to go and say D-levy and the whole some amount for they don't even understand it. I mean, for me, that is my problem. The fact is the energy sector over the years and I have been deviled with a lot of challenges, and I can be and I'm recently doom so me and but have a cancer doom so the way and near we need to stop. So now if there is a way, and there is a fact out there say every year be an energy sector shortfall a huge almost billion $, and World Bank for the projection Ghana for you careful by the end of this year we'll be hitting around 3.1 billion in terms of shortfall.
Yeah.
And now what you see Jababa can't say commercial and technical losses 40%. Now you more than papa company Ben was I see with technical and commercial losses 40%. That company can be viable. But we tolerate to say that is it. It's okay. And then to turn name here. So another day, challenges need to be good sector and why the Okosi we saw all the noise that these people made. But not the day, the impact and also the consequences. And they say, I buy a consortium of banks. Na IPPs ni nyina oni omo na okache omo say sika beto esra no ma ya yi one bank jisika no na pay the IPPs na omo sabe o betimi ato so a supply because Ghana say energy mix no IPPs am about 50% of the entire energy generation na ye wo no enti omo bufu no omo so omo dundum omo we you can't survive you understand na no so na so gele China for way they shut it down after elections some point some discussion has to go in before so energy sector no e ka wo ho and they cannot buy it because of the near mass ankrofo we yeah so for me if John Mahama government has been able to reduce petrol form, and there is a possibility that Bessia conform BM, I conform BM, and the only reason I cannot criticize one city in the say price na conform BM, and I buy a slot to one city shame say yam fast as Sicano, na yam fan pay. Say Yatiana say petrol no sign cost could do 17 cities. We will come back and say, baby, and near my corner, we need to take you want it in the free because the politics is about serving humanity. You understand? So, sometimes me, your politics, a toda area, honey said. This company for they know this fact I can answer you, but because of cheap politics in this MPP, they just try to make it look like Why and Baumia was saying the same thing. This is a flag bearer of a political party. Onim in and out. Onim energy sector. Do one case of more a car is assuming as a forum. And the Akano, younger than Akano. And the doom so should continue. You understand? So I think that the level of dishonesty on the part of these people. Now, Listowel, can you see? Now, no, catches who lose political power in a country. You don't just lose power, you lose connection with the people. I be very goodwill, a slip from your side. But in opposition, you try to build that particular thing. You become the voice and the representative of the people. So, obi by your government, only the people side. Our Ghana politics or opposition at Tambiano, you are able to bring the people because you speak for them. But it looks as if that the MPP hasn't realized this thing, and still this arrogant, belligerent posture. As I moving away from Parliament. Unfortunately, you don't have the numbers to make any upset in Parliament. And whether you sit or there, you are sitting there has no consequential effect on the activities of course of Parliament. So where is it you understand? Yeah. But I think that they need to make themselves accountable, relevant in the politics and the discussion in this country. Now you who say, minority question a major interest is what is the sunset clause in this particular thing? And so when I make sure that once in the NGB, because John Mahama bet me at the tax, but people cannot criticize because we are reducing petrol now from 17 to 12. I ever conform according to Energy Commission. We are supposed to sell it around some 8 cities. I say to which means it is coming. Yeah. And he said, "Oh, be it me this Ajuma way now a cabi or also the 1 city shema." Yeah. What is the big deal? You and for 8 good years, there wasn't a timer this particular because the city and everything was going up, and we were forced to always, increase your petrol at the pump. It got to a time where people were demonstrating in as a forum. When was the last time I had petrol over by 4 cities? Me in my lifetime, I'm yet to, even though it's what it's paying there, but such a huge sum of money, it been see that. So for me, advantage for us. and the can go energy sector and when betua ya na se yetua you understand so I think that it is not always your position you know like media me position your negative always criticizing because and I had opportunity to listen to a lot of the guys speaking and as for them we don't find any sense in the things that they were saying because the bottom line is the price not drop very big Ghana for I enjoying and consumers kase yentete and fair and as for nyamam for tete so na as for them so in this particular instance you know how do you say I buying the hardship to Ghana for so and it's not as if say I buying at the one city never to price in so existing price now on emuna buying till one city free so it's not as if say he's imposing one city. You understand?
Education,
you see, so the existing way now buying 81 cedi free.
Yeah.
So at another day, you know, the impression they're trying to create in this hardship. No, they are speaking for Ghana for no. If there is anybody on Badana here, is the Mahama government what me at petrol from 17. So I think that in opposition or more they need to just try to say, yeah, that goodwill no was slept to their side. This demonstration here, quite walking out of Parliament and as a forum. Oh yes, sir. The weak minds will always applaud this and them are opposition. But you see, there are intellectuals sitting out there watching you in Nema. This is the time you need these people to your side. Sabaya, the politics, the discussion, obey to me, and making sure that you take the lead. But the attitude and this kind of way or more for me, and yeah, they inspire and gender any confidence, and they portray the MPP as the same arrogant political party that sat on power for 8 good years so decided say own tie Ghana for because never bien ho ma fa okromo mo kan nyansa wom na no yete na won tumi issue ba obi ayama ne be 50 million cedi bill motena se kasa ayama branch ne dem 4 days kan ho na open year na say open year because he was slapped 50 million and then the argument was that 50 million no also yet yawayomi in 2012 yes slapping 54 at we say yes slash no $600 million number one
na even cry no sa 50 million no sika ne kan ho asem say akodi wuntumi nchen no it was in excess of about 10 times
yes me say
because even at the dollar equivalent rate today that money no $55 million no even if it's at 10 it is about 500
so, no Nam one nam kroma almost slapping nam one $500 million kroma say and the argument is that $50 million and also bang wound to me as a person I don't know you can go and do the research do you know say wound to me as an individual a benefit more than the entire Ashanti region because there is no single project in the Ashanti region that was started by Akufo-Addo within a period of 8 years and the cost to do $55 million but Wound to me alone they invested $55 million in Wound to me so the Wound to me as a person got richer than the entire Ashanti region. That was the bank, the Florida of the MPP. Now what you know what Basim now what take care of say me baba ye you know yes Abrantie yare na no afa passport come my clinic now what take jetia na wo ton bofra na wo ton we yare a kolebukura ya feza kolebukura bia wontimi fa ka ba. You see, we need to understand politics. Politics. It's not about the individuals involved. It is about the collective interest of the people. Politics, emotions, and don't expect that people will come and sit on TV or be defender. Because that is not the nonsense of politics that we do. We just look at the critical issues at play. How are Ghana for benefit? How do we chart a new political narrative? Young people out there will be inspired and they'll be interested in politics. Because you see, we've got into a time, I'm for free, conmen and their politics. And they'll be free school, but not just
free, so conmen their politics.
Yes, because of free school by now the VAT, no class, I say, easily going to say for Croman will be getting richer overnight. They don't ask where they are getting those things from. But they do these things at the expense of the poor masses out there, and that the very people who will be out there say, defend their man for but this politics of defense. Oh, here you know, car for 9 so be better than paracetamol crowd to be. Now what one okoji nipa na wo di na chini crowd unrespected. They don't even know your name. Asam to onimu baby What I say minimum man for mo political campaigner or free cash to talk from obi akura ma fees over hell. What I say so yam fire drain your politics near who said near man no will benefit us as people. Your collective interest not about honorable be okonipa no 100 Ghana cedi 1000 Ghana cedi obedia we no yam fa mobra. You understand? But let us build institutions and systems, put them in place just to ensure say a man politics na no be benefit a man for. Now this politics of negativity and criticizing because we are in opposition. You say a term, you understand? So I think that the also about this thing, there is no D levy that has been introduced. There is no new levy. So mugu social media, misinform a man for no. There is no new levy. Existing levy has been revised and one city has been added to it, and it is going to pay for the shortfalls. And then as a foreigner. Buying aboguho because energy sector levy na buy no senka omo de sika na ye de omo ye yanka e kanu nguho sa go to the energy sector and look at the debt eguho enti o ma me na betua na papa na betua and this is the time for her because my catch was senka price is still our 17 cedis can we never sit here and justify this but enam say timi atiaba for mama Ghana for any relief no that one cedi no people will not feel it, you understand? And I think this is the argument and whenever they are making it look like say John Muhammad one cedi abeto petrol no so but the atia free so no there they don't talk about it. That is the level of dishonesty choky or politics I'm a man for GD or politics yeah.
Solo yansha OSP ne Ken you see I said declare the wanted to be ne lawyer say muntimi nko US ona mo nko hwe say akwa no yare ampa
bo ahe no se na asem ne da so wo court omugusu a omudie adasefo mienu akwa kasa ba akwa kososo ema na ye miensa na adasini ba akwa ono ye friend Frank anani dekpe ono na oye errand assistant na errand assistant Mr. Chunu twi ye beka ne say errand assistant chese ono onye dwe bi anye na dwe oye ni na say ye soma no kwa ha errand no na assistant na chese senior errand dan kasa owo na errand assistant ono no o say etoda ye tibi soma no na ye de mirika de amane say ko bank we na okwa na ye tibi ya kire ne say ukoduru bank ho a ko hwe atwu ukwa kan no tumdin na check ne ye de mana ye sili ano ti ono kura onim sika wom ti okwa na wa mo Ghana must go say ye mienu o miensa we nan ye we num o ensie we duo na wa mo ano wa hye na mbotom na ono na de koro no eti okoduru a na ya pack sika na gu Ghana must go no e kina mepe bia be kire wo eti so de be 3 ko 4 ko 5 ko a na ye load sika na gu mama no pa no de sika no na ode ko bibia ye fine Ghana ye sika eno no achi no ba ko so ye friend Mildred Donko oso ono de oye Dubois his associate na oso ono de UMB bank any Stanbic bank ena ye ta soma no ma ne ko ho ko yiska ana odi sika koto ho na so ono de okwa eye bum okoyi abaso a eye bum no de akoto ho no wasamba na chese bibia eno ano no na se okoyi sika ne nso a ode ba ode mirika aya na opani edubu ahene office e wala boni eho eno de sa sika ne ko eno ye Frank anani dekpe a odi adanse se ha sika padi no aya na ho wo monnom wo ho no enye sika wa ti oyi a na ode ko eye wo mo asoye o kan sansem we ina no e kire court no nipa mienu ni ina so e kan o masem no e de kire court ne se wo mo de sika ko na wo mo de ba wo mo de ko no na wo mo de ba wo mo de ko no na wo mo de ba na enne no me wonsam be ebika matena se adwunade bi ho na sanka menya wo ho Ghana nsentrofo a ye wo mamu ha minuano ma wo kumase titru ene yenyai ye wo Ghana mfana yina aka yina no ye du ba bi a esese ensentro adwuma no wo betia na we mat think tank
we want a think tank think tank for no eto da wo do wo manum asem ne ba na what trust now wo dwene wo yie pa proper what you say chale ade we de anka nya asem a ka ebia de wo ye tirimu no emu odu eso eye papa chensa but eto da wo te wo sa be wo say de no ba be hye kon omanya ye wo mi wa ho de bia da Sir John any JB ewo kumase eye morning show wonte hwe o better answer ba kumase pe ena se ye pama ma ewo akwanchen a ye kankran e de pamom abaye na baye na chese Mr. Chu chese omo yere wo mo ba eni pa do kumase ketia ye pamna frikwa ho ye nkasa wo mo ba o ye nka twi nkyira ne da kumase ni abaye a otekwan ho eto ade ye oba ye frɛ na abaye then times no wo be hunu na obi a oye KMA ebi a from the city guards mo ajebi ye from city guards me hu ye Kofi Juma time me hu bi Mama Part time me hu bi Samuel Sapon time Samuel Sapon time na me de bankran me hu bebre me hu say ye pam ma no gidigidi but enanya botra ma me na me nkyere wade bi oman bia e wa asase so no se wo che oman no mu enum wo che oman no mu edu sai emu nchichemu edu na wache no ema e wo san nchichemu no mu bia no o mu osuban bi a o mu tibi de hwe wo ma wo tibi de hwe wo nkununom wo tibi de hwe wo abusuafo akunafo wom ade a eye wa asase so pa ne se oba ne be ma bre tie asaba me kan yi oba ene be ma esinkete abre etiti ne mowrem we jai de all yo nyina se we de me di be ma na chi no ne be ma na sidan oni be ma na dua koko oni be ma na ye japade obi nkase be ma ne wuo ba ye mem ha ye wo no be ma bi ewu a ne yire na akunu ana wonye ho be ma bia owo sika bi ewu a ne yire na akunu ana mana make say me boa eti oba bi ye wa mane ne amamra hodo wo mamu ha se wukunu wu a ye baby kura de yetimi wura wo sakora ana yesa na ka no ye dwi wuti winwi na tugu because wukunu awu mete hei mintia obi krom amane ene amamre because ebi wo ha minim de enti a ekofa asasam ne baaye but se yesi yetrase ne yakane yi a sabi eburu sabi enyado mpanifo tie ebi wo ho a nyansa nim ni kuna wu ni yadwiri ni tiri ho nyina eti oba bia ni kunu wo sika no be ma ni wu ye pa yanka opa japade no eti on na ekunu ba se oba ni wu ho na ekunu eti sa wotena sena wo hwa ama ene single motherhood adoso wo wiase enkrofo adwe ye o mo se efe o mami we de lady we de oboro ho modi o owo ye we nya be ma bia no no na ehwe ne ma hey emuso me mo bia dada na wo fa single motherhood embo ho asafo hene se me de I am independent me de me yesei eti ma wo me de eba na me pese me wo na metimi ahwe me ba hey sister nyabotre me kan se me ba ba bi na sa wodi wani to fama sa wa hwe ni ye pa ema e wo Ghana ha no sa wo chem 10 emu 6 omudidwa ema e wo Ghana ha no wo chem edu emu 9 wodidwa wo ton ne man ketenkete ekwa ho sei sa ema no wo be kwa kohwem no me am researcher me ni lecturers bi ewo eye University of Professional Studies UPSA ahwem age atum kire se ema ton niam wo kwa ho no emu ohanchichemu eduokunu mienu 92% won na hwe wo ma
dibechi yen sori kwa o emetra hankasa o emma na eton niema wo kwan ho no emu oha nchechem aduokunu mienu 92% of women are woton niema e wo kwan ho one person obewura dwabi mu no sa ma no 92% wo wa na hwe wo ma ebinum wo wa na hwe wo maame sa ma no ebinum wo wa na hwe wo papa no sa ma no wo wa na hwe wo bibia. They pay for their rent, they pay for their children's school fees, wo twa won dan ka wo twa won ma school fees sa ma no wo wa na wo ye wo bibia twa wo ho ka nyina 92%. What do you know to nchen a ma eton niema ewo ekwan ho no emu 60% temiye and we want to do an academic faber also sa ema no 60% womu okununum. But I can authoritatively tell you per our research it indicates that sa ema now sa 92% no emu 60% eye wonwa ele hefie de bema no etimi ye ina ne se wotua school fees aduane noa ehoka ofi edwam ekofie a ne wadidwa ba wo de ma me nkwa ahoma no so na me ne Sir John Emon Komo from Kumasi me ba I will come back to this and I want to actually throw out a solution. I see a pam and ma wo kwan ho ya pam and ma wo kwan ho e man in free kwan ho e man in free kwan. No, we must have a solution as a country. Ghana ye need solution. Makacho say ya bo intercolleges na wie eno ya pam secondary school versus St Augustine's ya bo wie say ya bo super zonals. Ma me kwa man so Sir John what me kan ma che. Hello Sir John. Hello. All right. Sir John Medase, as a line no and kind and so tono. Ghana pen and so to bibia to be say. It says I want to make out the anyahe fatum sa me enko echna ebe da foforo. Sa e man e ton yema okwan maka to 60%. Wo kofia wo didwa e na eko. Eti obekwa koduru fie no odimirika tiem ye. E ma ye nkrofo bi a nyame nyansem no Adam na wada ene nyame yi ne mfe pade bo ba obo ba ne wie ye no if sorry answer Adam or sorry okay Quran is the same story. Khadija na osorija Muhammad. The reason is that naturally women were wired not to sleep too much but work too much. Emma ya mom ma say wonder bebre but was sorry was ye adwuma so bebre. It is a woni oba atefie tiemiye na wadwe ye o say wo na we chop money wo na wo tua school fees eti wo fees oba na adwuma ye ina ne say odo aduane na osi niema na oprapra fie na osesefie a mini ya ba ma wo tie me pa cho eni die kwan so wunyansa wo fam. Sir John, what me come at here?
Captain Metonka.
Hello, Sir John.
Hello, Captain.
Hello. Oh, and the line is yesterday. Line is yesterday. Line is yesterday. Oba Otifie. I am from housewives.
You know, it's a blasting abone kuomasum. And there are videos on pay I am sure the production will connect nothing almost more TV so very dangerous situation and what the CIA captain after Enrana aboni bi o paya aboni bi man kwade di agonya kwa aponu ka kwada di nyame kwa na be mu a saving kwada no onti. It has been a major discussion this morning. The win-win situation about the China about 40 years dying through the buffer areas are a walk. Now some of them produce permit they are more so Now the question is there permit akoso? Let's issue permit and the amount so we see there. And then I buy so much here with the private companies. So they either start buying the cost in relocating them. And now say a buying will look at it there. California should have option. That you have blasted a one back. You have blasted Emma. So it has been a major topical issue as far as Asantemai air concerned. A sanctuary they have on Ghana come at this one. It's happened. So far, this has been a major issue in Kumasi and Opay.
Okay, to say your summit to us here. Sabbath, Mitia, the Okani here. A woman, a query, our boy, the problem now, Basana or Patre.
No residents, Onua, almost around that area.
Okay.
And actual letter, and the
Mamin Shawa, Sir, what I Kumasi Kaya 2006 September. Na Yemra, Yem Papa, Yadiana John Ajekum Kufo, and now the president of this republic. The woman I want Kaya, the first company, na Samreno or Papa Yabo, Emma, Enipa, Abaya Bina, or call school you want Tafo, me refi school needing a private school. Now, I'm bus, a call ba fan crofo. Sir John, Samreno, that day no. And is this Louis and I asked Antoa for a woman any car quenchia and what tafo and Museo. It was the same day, it was in September. Saturday, no minya. Problem and if you about to say, woman blast this boom. That was in 2006, so far away 2006. Now a buono papai, ebe Google woman dying so. Ada a buono ambadan so na in futuro a kumwong. That time, I remember very well. It happened time and now Honorable Maxwell Kofi Dwumah KMA boss. Now Kofi Dwumah that time they call Prabon. My name is Wonim Krobia from a Prabon. Would you? Your friend say Atonsua. Who call him kakra before we do a selection. Now I found one sir. Right. No way uraho. Now Honorable Maxwell Kofi Dwumah. I could find Israel for me to one basse. One more baller, ever generate electricity. That was the day. Sadanone Dana, or pie, a boar, a year, a surwa, a prepra grofa, a quada, ketuanoya, baya, oko schooler, a boko bone trim. It took Honorable or say chain men sambonsu. Now I call Mampon. Oba. And opatutu or say chain men sambonsu. And the service aquada ketwano. Or the Dimirika Eba Tafo Government Hospital. And I'm catching said aquada ketwano SCA Prano. And ya de metimi Ashano no didn't Dimirika. Answer no bedu confanochi teaching hospital no. Your friend baby Bantama Polytechnical, Bantama Polyclinic. A Shantemu and so we know, I don't know a call a year G Ankasa, a moment to share Sabayano. And that problem. I remember very well. In 2008, the chief of staff then, J. Kufuor time, by Kumasi, while my young that time I just see a demonstration. Etia J. Kufuor say, if you that time now, Honorable Kojompieni, Ebaeno, Obano, now Ministry of Finance in Pennyphobic Canahon, Ministry of Roads, that time now, Dr. Richard Anani. Now, since 70 on trench, but not Onua so that done here, Ministry of Roads and Transport to Spanwo. Now, friend of chairman of chairman, Mira Fidin Kakra, or a Tintin, who come, very nice man. Now, on it, Asukwa MPP chairman. Asukwa MPP chairman, Mira Fidin says here. Debbie, Reverend. Anyway, me referee or ya kukrua Chama Sabre. Chairman, okay. Chairman Sabre. That time, you know, they won't need pair a foul mobile Tom Sika because one of us said Chairman Sabusu at the Mirikaba Accra. Don't forget, sir, 2008, the mono. Now MPP primaries Akoso, Emma Honorable Abraham Osei. Abraham Asiedu, no Tema East. Not a majority leader. we took in the name of Ghana. I'm a primaries. I'm an Owusu. Elections, no. Chairman Sabonsu. I'm a key comment. We say a palace school. And SC MPP. And it's not Chairman Sabonsu. So to Mirika at the back and cry because Honorable Owusu the seat. Ewatema. I'm an Atoshi. Tell Eti Chamana Sabre. Any Asante Achim. Oh, Asante Achim Agugwana. Me and Fidino. He was the Kojo Banredu constituency chairman. They are the people who went to that to Kofanoti Teaching Hospital to pay the medical bill of Saledido. Yeah, official petition at the command, the then Tafo Traditional Council. We were told, say, Nana Nakwe Kura. That's what we were told. If it's Samreno Ebano, a boy faces our problem with Sa, or Sa, say, Boajo, by 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, at Bugrim. Now, my question is that ya tete KMMU power no so san keten say ya kwada so den ya wo asokore mampon den ya wo tafo den so no problem, it's not under KMA again. I am asking whoever is the municipal chief executive say on the history of how people were dissipated. That time now there was one minister a deputy minister, is it of trade or something, J. Kufuor time ono na kwaya sa ma ya mame the work kwada so yi agric minister betuni Hildado ona kwaya sa ma Hildado eba I've forgotten the name. Onuna ofin cry oko ne constituency oko serem and otefa ho odu yare ne ya papai abo. He called one former deputy minister of interior, Honorable Thomas Bruni. I remember the story very well. This was further in 2008. And then Koko Sohene, he was part of the national security that time. Koko Sohene any pabako na me no be the dimirika that time na NDC4 I was secretary be a friend Sly Akakpovi any Alhaji Sani any Nana Kofi Butler and then the nipa be na presiding member di no was Swami assemblyman Kofi Senya. These are the people a tumirika ko bo ho making sure say enema yina betimi atoto din e ma sondwe and problem way awo ho some the mechanic na esisi super pepper there from 2006 basically. And I think that as I said it's a situation no but I say very because from time all kind of thing no yeah that's why was that problem ni mo and the share effect, the effect of blasting Omuya or Captain, all is not well. All is not well. And I think say Drew baby as I said, MPs, so-called politicians, say Ashanti region, no. They shouldn't take Ashanti region for granted, right? Sir John, before I will call I'm sure there. MPP by winning election Ashanti region. True. MPP can never ever win an election in this country without Ashanti region. But let me be sincere with you. Shema the papa apart from Kufuor emergency. So for line interchange Kufuor say when we are mills na be we as kwa interchange na chema the papa bia MPP ayi Ashanti region. Boba Kocaine meet you.
Yeah. I mean, you better have bidding. Hospitals, hospitals.
You see, NDC and super winning election. I am majority of the time. NDC fighting almost say when they win Greater Accra, when they win Central Western, when they win Volta, Northern Region, Upper East, Upper West. May I believe in the 10 traditional regions. When we win our regions now, we make me win election. That's a lie. The BIA, we say NDC, less than 25 26% ewa Ashanti region biano NDC lose election. Pachowa realizes Sadia no.
Yeah.
Very good. Eti emfa hunu vote dodoa NDC benyo voter region. Onya less than 26% to Ashanti region lose election. Anamwa.
It's a crap.
Fantastic.
Issue records are there.
NPP emfa hunu voter obenya ewo eye eastern region and other parts of the country. The very material moment obey political analysis of voting pattern in this country. About say MPP enya less than 80% ewo Ashanti region olusu election mebwana.
That's true.
Okay. Etino ye do baby a ho esese menuanom a ye wa asantemamu no ye tenase ne ye timi dwene ho ne ye hu se agema prempe ewo MPP a o se hyiaman esese okwa ndisi ese eche se le be ya nipa betimi ayire enipa mu man niam esese oye ewo kumase no watimi aye akufa do be di 8 years ere de si wa Ashanti abaye sa na edi wiye Sampai no twetwa ntwinam for chairman ewo eye fa say kumase mayanka friend abato ye kumase nim abato friend mayanka no twetwa ntwinam o mayanka ye ne tawo be KMA boss chemade ba ko pass ye fa say Sampai oye si kumase abonten so ebetumi de yensa kire so say ye na Sampai ye as KMA boss that is what ECG kura meters keke meter keke ye de be ko eye Ketia market dim e kura no na the whole Ketia market e use 1 meter mbacho me bwana how can you tell me that there are 7 Ghana for yen trust yen nwina asem we hu meba man asem no so we hear then o ka tell me say yet eye apartment nipa 4 family bia 1 meter Kumasi Ketia market this one over 7,000 stores. We no meet tobacco. Edi pass 7,000. Sampai betra Kumasi. When to me a meter anko Ketia market. The whole market was using 1 meter. Mbacho me bwana asajon.
Oh yes, Captain. Since Ketia almost start to operate bekanne. And they both meter no. Facility I rely on from that time to next.
But if 2018, and another say or start second phase of Kate and Pacho where we.
Baby, and the last time Enra I checked now it was 65%. That is Enra after Enra I checked it was 65%. The thing I can say that's an almost year drains now almost year around it. For the architectural design in there, the check contractor just say the architectural design no is done. The interior no be wajuma. Is that the ama ajuma no share and then in so potato no. And na omo he so be trace maybe in school beba facility ni maybe be fani ade. Eti as oko site and no na contractor no eye wajuma say obehu maybe o di trace be fa. Ele kwa copy subi ni mu. That the buyer is so much after honey and as we speak, the check excess that the number bina Dr. Baumia, blue light say our buyer not say, abandoning your nomination in terms because almost 80%, no. Confirmed from the facility and the contractor, no, and it's a 65% and a project after Enra true.
Sir John, I mean now I say Entwaso enfia entebusia tie ufa emana na me kan ma to ade okwa ho baka to say 60% won na efridwam ekofia wodidwa de enti aya na Kumasi Central Market kura de timi hye betense Kumasi dwa hye edwam we ahye enye Kumasi nko a edwa horo ahye ni na no emane bebre de gas cylinders ekodom ekono aduane because otudom won say market no aba sa market no wotimi hwe sa de redin out mi trust na wotimi ahunu say hey wano aduane na freedom amfa nkofi a obedi traffic so free Ketia market obedu santas no na boy 8 o'clock ekomedi ni kunu ne ma obe free Kaneshi market obe nanti musa atra trotro musa kwadru Medina na ekom ade ne kunu ene ne ma eti e ma ne bebre anu aduane e wodwom eti e research ne kire say out of the 92% e ma na e wo Ghana ha wo ton ne ma wo kwa ho no emu 44% wo mu no aduane e wodwanim as what we did aduane nako. What am I trying to say? Yet what's abeti an san crying abaye Kumase abaye Cape Coast abaye Kofodia abaye. This thing doesn't make sense. Let's find a solution. I'm going to give you a solution. Makato say your boy inter colleges na wie apam secondary school in St. Augustine's hockey no your boy wie apam Owusu 2-1 say your boss super zonals tie. Number one, me my dream when some Ghana man penia. As I say, I introduce street markets. Oh baby, I pam and mano. See me ye. I say I introduce street markets. Any question yet was I say a pam ma because of my background you decongested. No, decongestion no. As I say, I waterways. Obi a washed down that we so uska to baby and so fano. Wajeho we see there sim yembutungu. But the manner at kwan ho no, we need to have a strategy, not a political strategy, but a nation building strategy with an implementation plan that will make the women feel dignified. Not just always, hey, abaye, hey, kwa, hey. Please. Now listen. As I said, Ghana to me introduce you street markets. Number one, ahini ye pama mawo kumasi je bia hia enye ketia enye dum okay enkran ahini ye pama ma efri kwa ho enye ayi ye fa say ukọ kantimanto ne here but anyway baby ye pama ma bia no. This is a plan. Ye introduce what I call Ghana's street markets. Number one, edum baby ye pama ma kantimanto baby ye pama ma circle baby a problem man yen no official yen plan ade ni ye. So number one, ye dim say wo ko mankasim a ye didwa e wo mankasim Wednesdays and Saturdays and a market day and cry ye ni market day. Every day is a market day in Accra, Adelaide. When you go to Kumasi ni market day. Every day is a market day e wo Kumasi. Woko Takoradi every day is a market day e wo Takoradi. Woko Cape Coast yeni market day. Every day is a market day e wo Takoradi. Techman no more market day. Your traditional markets e wo Ghana ha. They have specific days wo didwa. Mankasim di wukuada. Techman minim jebi techman mo di day ben. Techman wo mo da wo mo didwa. When we also di wukuada. Woko memia bebre. So watch this. Kumase ne yakase street bebre e wo Kumase. E free pampa so eba eye Nketia market ho no e wanso enwa bia traffic beba. I have said this next week bet no me manage traffic ho pa. Woni me dey traffic bet me afetch Ghana $10 million